beautiful day here in California, and we're on our way to sit down with one of my favorite people in the industry, Lisa Kubo. And she's an incredible human, an incredible driver, and has set many records and won many trophies and championships. And it's just going to be such a treat to sit down. And I know we're going to cover a lot of what makes this industry, what makes this sport compact industry so good. So we'll just get to her place of work. McLeod clutch. McLeod. Sounds so Scottish. What up?
What's up?
Cool, show me around.
Yeah, here we go. Well, this is McLeod. This is my new home where I handle all the Sport Compact. I'm the director of Sport Compact, so.
Yeah, of course you are.
Where, yeah, I know, right? Just makes sense. So, here's where the magic happens. This is pretty much our domestic side right here. We have sport compact stuff, so these would be our organic discs, RSTs. We make these for the 2Js, the rotaries, stuff like that. You would have back here, you got reworks is in the back where we just passed by, where people they actually can send their units like those in to get rebuilt. Instead of purchasing a whole new unit, they can send it in and we can replace the discs, replace studs, replace anything.
This guy's an artist.
I'm going to push in the class that I'm in right now. You got me. So I got this is my block, my crank, my casing, so they can make sure everything's fitting.
Of course you do.
This is something it never left my side. Damn cutest little fucking thing you've ever seen. Look at it. Look at it. Like hi. So yep, that's where all the magic's gonna happen.
It's the whole feeling about just raw horsepower under your foot. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
Cool.
Spent a lot of time on the East Coast. She used to call it water.
Water.
Well, that's what Mia used to call my daughter. She used to call it water.
Water.
She was like a little baby. We're like, what part of England did you come from? You're such a little. I should tell her that.
It's such a wee bit little water.
She's like, can I have some water? And I'm like, right.
And some tea and crumpets.
Yeah, I'd be like, you're like one and some change. Like, where did you come from? I think we're good. You're two, so you could be a little. I'll play with the levels. If it goes nuts, I'll hear it. So you can just go. You can go as nuts as you want.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah.
It's funny because I'm Sicilian, so I'm Italian, so I do the hand thing.
That's okay because I'm Sicilian as well.
That's the hand thing.
That's the hand thing. I'm
you
always
can't.
moving.
Yeah.
I can't. I can't even sit on my hands. You see me moving
it's a hand.
around.
It's a culture thing, right?
Yeah. You're not Italian if you're not talking with the hands.
Sicilian?
Sicilian.
Me too. That's wild. I never knew that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll see the back of my neck. I have a Italian flag.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Well, let's kick this party off. This is new information I never knew. All right, welcome to Burning Tires. I am your host, Greg Leone, and I'm so delighted to sit down with Lisa Kubo.
Oh.
And been a friend for many years, and the most winning driver in sport compact history for a woman also too, right?
Yeah.
And you hold a ton of titles. You hold a bunch of championships. You got a bunch of Wallies.
Not a bunch. I wish I had one more.
Yeah, you got, but that's a huge deal. I mean, to get a Wally's a huge deal. I mean, some people like work their whole lives to get one.
And
of those.
you fight for it.
You fight. You have to fight for it.
There's no slouching when you're going for a Wally.
Yeah, and I've known you so many years.
Oh my gosh.
And it's so cool to sit down, and it's so cool to tell the story of the rise of the Sport Compact. And that's what we're doing here, is we're telling the story of the rise of the Sport Compact. And we'll be spiraling up into the modern world eventually, but we got to start at the beginning. And so this first series is the rise of the Sport Compact. And what better person to sit down and tell that story, Lisa Kubo?
Well, worst person.
Best worst person.
I use so much foul language. Like,
it's all good.
Control.
Yeah, no, send it. Full send.
I'm gonna have to like F myself.
Yeah, I don't think I don't bleep this yet. I don't know if I should. For his YouTube algorithm.
Yeah, I was gonna say if there's any kind of you're gonna get demonetized to filth with me.
All right, I'll figure it out.
I'll try. I'll keep it like PGR-ish. I'll do something.
Full sake. Well, I'm editing it anyway, so I'm the one sitting down. I'm going to be looking at this for like however many 5 hours of podcast.
Jeez, 5 hours. It takes me like 5 years just to get something up. No, it's not perfect.
Oh no, I'm a perfectionist. I know you. Yeah. So, but it's like, there's a balance I'm learning in life is to get it done versus get it perfect. Because if it's perfect, sometimes it take like I built this bus, and I haven't shown you the engine bay, but I have 10,000 hours building the engine bay.
Oh my gosh!
It's a full custom hand built, beautiful. It's like a show car, race car under there.
Oh my goodness!
Right, wow. But it's perfect, and it's the way I wanted it. But it cost me getting it done in a relatively reasonable time. It took 5.5 years.
Oh my goodness!
So think about building something almost every day for 5.5 years. Like that's the level of perfectionism.
Yeah, that's a level of OCD right there.
Totally right.
Well, come from race car world. It's an OCD.
Yeah.
thing.
So I think I got it out of my system for a while. So I feel like
you're good to go.
I feel like when I edit these, I feel like I'm a little bit more like, all right, let's get this story told, and it's straight through. So it's like, unless there's like a, something, airplane crashes outside and we got to stop for something, or we stop for a pee break or whatever, it's straight through. I don't really cut it. And so that's the beauty of it, is like we tell these stories straight through as they come out.
Oh my gosh.
No. There's no pressure though, because it's just us talking, right? It's just us talking.
There's no pressure, nothing. You know me, come on. I work well under pressure too.
Right.
So. Okay.
Cool.
You saw my fingers off. I'm still not saying anything.
I know, right? That's an older generation too.
Yeah.
You
just
duct tape.
Yeah.
Duct tape and just keep working.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going. Yeah.
All right, so let's start. Let's tell this story. Let's tell your story. And let's start at the beginning. So let's start at like, what was your first memory or your first real event that happened that made you fall in love with going fast, or fall in love with cars, or fall in love with, the Sport Compact or whatnot?
Well, mine backs up further. My family was into street racing. So growing up, I was always at the street races with my family. So my father was the street racer. My mom would just, be there. So this would happen here in California, and we would race off of Valley Boulevard. So I remember the Zodies. I'm dating myself, but I remember all of that.
Wow.
So it came to a point, like my dad had a 70 Roadrunner, and you've probably met my father because he was always at the races.
Wow.
And he had a Roadrunner, and I never used to want to get out. And I'd throw a tantrum, throw a fit, just... My mom was like, I don't know what to do with this kid, So basically, my dad had one. I still have the helmet, an open face helmet with a Roadrunner. It's gold with leaf and this and that for his car. So they put the helmet on me, and I'd have to sit in the back seat behind my father during the street race. So I have my baby book. I have it. And my baby book said, Lisa saw Daddy win $20 against a Chevy.
Right.
So I was 2 weeks old already at the street races. You know what I mean? So I started there. It so happened that growing up, it was a transition to Sport Compact was just natural because that was our generation.
Right.
So those were our cars. I started out with a 88 Volkswagen Fox. The poor little thing was slower than slow, and I put nitrous on it. You don't. We all know the freaking cardinal rule. You don't never double the horsepower on put nitrous on a car. No. At least I was like, let's just start out with an 80 shot. Then I was like, let's get greedy and let's put a 120 shot. Kept blowing that CIS plate in half. Oh, every time that thing would explode, I'd die laughing. Automatic cam. It was just a CIS plate. It would just have a freaking, it was direct port at that time when I did, what was it, the 120 shot, whatever it was.
How old are you at this point?
At that point, I was probably like 19 or 20.
19 or 20?
Yeah, like 19, 20, because I started going to the street races.
And what car was this? It was on
Volkswagen.
The Volkswagen.
The Green Fox.
Green Fox.
It was a Green Fox. And I actually started as a lowrider hood rat. Nobody knows. See, nobody knows that side of me.
I wish you had pictures of this.
Miles will remember, because Miles remembered the first day seeing me when I rolled up at Beach and Imperial. He was all, "Who's this gangster over here, Broad or whatever?" Yes, I used to wear the Dickies, the Pendletons, all that, and oh my God! So people don't.
You want to know a funny story? Is I lived on Euclid Imperial.
Oh my gosh, you were right there.
I lived Harbor Imperial or Beach Imperial. So anytime they'd be rolling there, I would hear them and I would know. I'd be like, all right, cool, it's time to roll out.
Oh,
I'd always know.
Yeah, we had so much fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how it started. And I rolled up. I used to cruise Hollywood Boulevard. So that's what I was like, lowrider, full on bass box and boom, boom.
In the Fox.
Playing all the freaking oldies. And yeah, you'd never, if you saw me then and saw me now, they'd be like, what the hell happened to her? because it was so different. And then I so happened to end up at Beach and Imperial. I'm like, what is all this? And my Volkswagen fit in. I'm like, because it was sport compact stuff. So I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then I was like, okay, I kind of hid. Then I came back again the next week. And then we just, we were still shy. It was me and my best friend, Messina. And we were still shy, and we were like, let's park a little closer. And so we started parking close. So we were shy. I was shy. I didn't really know anybody.
Right.
So the first friends that we actually made was Papadakis, his ex-girlfriend, at that way long time ago.
This is Black when he's running his Black Civic.
Oh yeah, when he was a 16-year-old kid. Mom, I'm not with any bad influence friends. I can remember the phone calls. Yes.
Yeah.
Like all of us went freaking with Neck, with Cream, all those guys, all Joel, all those guys, Miles, Archie, Tony. I was right there. I came in right when they were probably a couple years in. So I was at the street races. So I saw a lot of shit.
Right.
A lot of shit.
Well, I met you at the street races.
Yeah. See, I
think I met you at in Baldwin Park. We'd run in Baldwin Park sometimes.
Which one? Because there was 4 lanes.
We used to run 4 lanes, yeah,
four
in
lanes.
Rolling Heights.
Yep, Rolling Heights.
Or Industry, I think it was Industry.
Industry, yeah. Oh, well, I forgot. Started with an R, I think. I forget the name of the
No. The one by the post office. The one over by the big post office distribution center. By the riverbed or whatever.
Oh, God, what was the name of that
We'd run
one?
there. We'd run Pathfinder.
Yep, Pathfinder.
Yeah.
Oh, and then it was I scheduled my work schedule around street racing. Sunday, I was off Monday because I'd be Beach and Imperial Sunday, and we'd be racing till all hours. The sunlight was coming up, and we're like, okay, time to go. We've had, we had success. No cops.
No cops.
Yeah, there'd be no cops. And then it would be, you'd start, Tuesday night would start, you either went down to Compton, Maine or any of that, or I was always in Ontario. So I'd always go to Ontario, and then I'd go on, I forget which night. But you'd go down to Coldwater Canyon, so you go down to the valley and race.
Right. Well, I think Sunday was Compton. Usually Compton Sunday and.
No, it was Beach and Imperial was Sunday.
Beach and Imperial was
Sunday nights was Beach and Imperial.
Right.
And then Compton and Maine might have been Saturday. It was always on the same nights. So I want to say Ontario and Compton and Maine were the same night. So that would have been Tuesdays and Thursdays or something.
Well, when Ontario would bust, we'd always go that's when we'd roll to the valley or roll down to San Diego and whatnot.
Yeah. See, that's where we met. Daryl Bacon was down in the valley.
Yeah.
Dave Hickman, all those.
Dave Hickman.
All those dudes. All down in the valley.
The vacuum cleaner, Dave Hickman. Yeah.
Yep. So,
funny.
there's so many names and throwbacks and.
Right.
There's so many guys,
But that was the era,
That was and then that time was the time of our life. Just starting.
It wasn't a thing.
No.
It wasn't
My God, no.
It wasn't like anyone knew what it was going on.
No.
We all just kind of did it.
My dad would call my car a Toys for Tots. What is this thing? A Toys for Tots car? Oh, every name in the damn book I've been called. So when people call the cars names, I'm just like, okay.
I got Matchbox car. Like I get my little CRX is called Matchbox. Like all my whole family's like, oh, you driving that Matchbox car?
Oh, rice
like,
popper. What's a rice
Oh,
popper?
yeah.
Like we tried to then turn it on the motorcycles. It's all the motorcycles' fault.
Sewing machine on steroids. all
No,
those
I never
things.
got
Yeah,
that.
I got that.
I just got ridiculous ones. I'm like, you guys are just you guys are ridiculous.
Yeah.
But we all had fun. I mean, we were all a bunch of 20-year-old kids running around. Yeah. Early 20s. We weren't even old enough to freaking drink, and we were out
there. Yeah.
Out there just ripping streets up and having good times.
It's crazy to think about it. And there was like most people were violent. There was like a lot of violent people that weren't being violent.
Yes,
for the most part.
That's what I like is, a lot of places would silence how the guys were, how we all were. I don't know, I can't, and I'll never say I speak for anything after California. So anywhere out there, that's their stories.
Right.
But the West Side, we were all a bunch of hood.
We were hood.
There was always somebody with a freaking switch in their car. I had switch. I was there when Tony was shot at by Vit Lamb.
Oh,
before
yeah.
I even knew any of them.
Right.
I was there in Ontario. I was at the gas station. And I'm like, what is that noise? Vit gets out of that. He gets out of the car and he's got that Kleenex box. He's ripping a Kleenex box and he's cocking this little, 22 or 25.
Yeah, I think it was a
pop,
380.
pop, firing at the gas station. Tony Fuchs. And I'm standing like, what the is going on? And Messina's in the car because she was my ride or die all the time.
Yeah.
And she's like, get down, you stupid bitch. I'm like, what the is going on? She's like, they're capping at it or whatever they're saying.
Yeah.
We hit the freaking deck. I can't tell you how many times. Oh, I've seen people get that shit. No, I was there when San Diego and up here, we didn't get along. North and South didn't get along.
No.
And when the new Eclipse came out.
Why was that?
It was a battle of the cars. It was gangsters.
But I feel like we never really went down to San Diego.
I didn't got caught in a raid.
What's that?
I didn't got caught in a raid.
Oh, man.
I had to act like, I'm just here on vacation.
Mira Mesa or like that whole,
I don't remember what part. I don't remember part of San Diego. There was a shit ton of cars.
Right.
But
San Diego was crazy.
It was badass.
But it was crazy that some of them would come up, but not all of. It was segregated.
Some of the ones that came up were not so great because I watched one dude get his ass fucking. He got his own car jacked with him and thrown in the trunk. Like people don't even know. Like oh my god. So when we were racing and we were getting picked on by the domestic guys. We're like, you don't even know what you're fucking with right now. You guys don't even know what you're talking to.
But that was the beginning.
Yeah.
And that was the grudge match always. It was imports versus domestics.
Because we were so new. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
When you think of a freaking car with the slicks on the front, tell me it's not a funny looking backwards ass car. It is.
Yeah.
But it was cool. It still is cool to me.
It still is cool.
Still is cool. It's just you're defying everything that everybody says you should not,
physics,
could not, and
everything.
will not do.
Yeah.
I love it. I like
yeah.
and that's I guess what our whole generation and now after is we're a bunch of freaking rebels. We're going to do what we want when we want.
Rebels. Yeah.
That is the truth.
Still doing stuff that's not, we started what was not possible.
No.
Yeah.
And we always were coming up with there was always something new, something that everybody was so creative in their own minds that it was not every car was the same. It wasn't a cookie cutter car that you could put this, and it's all the same. Put this, in there, and it's all going to run the same. It's not. It was never like that. You had some cars that were carbureted nitrous. You had some cars that were just nitrous. You had cars that were barely coming out with turbo, all motor. And everybody had their own little things that they did. Right. So it was very unique, and I think that's what made the industry so different and so where we were so attached to each other because we had, no matter what, we had each other's backs, because we were all growing together.
And we were small. If you think about the real, the core of this culture, it was only a few of us. And it seems like there was this person, that person, that person. But when you run around it, it's the same people. It's the same small group of people. And whether it was timing or whatever, we just all fell in love with this impossible dream.
Yeah, and we all just sat and talked for hours, and we'd race. And then once we all got to know each other, we wouldn't race each other. We would just kind of bully other people. I didn't race mine. I mean, I'm telling you, the Volkswagen was not shit. Okay, so
well, then you started racing the Civic. I feel like
the Civic,
and I think that's when I got to hang out with you and Gary. We stayed up till I think the sun came out. And
that
it was
would
just
totally be. I'm always
with Eric, with EL Prototypes. Eric, I don't know if you remember Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah, we that was it. Once it got dead, once everybody left, you just sort of stayed and talked
Yeah, you just
and hung
stayed
out
and talked.
till the sun came up.
Or until the cops came and kicked you out. That's
cops
all we ever did. We just sit and talk.
Yeah. And those are some of like the best memories. The racing is great, but those late night conversations, and I don't even remember what we talked about.
Oh,
You know
I
what I
can
mean?
tell
Like
you some conversations.
some conversations, but like I just remember staying up late with Steph and Felicia. I remember Felicia.
Yep.
Yeah, and all like just late the late nighters.
Yeah. I can remember being at the shoe races down in Compton, and we were all sitting at a Denny's, and I can't remember what the Hondas were running at the time, and Stefan said, it came out of his mouth. He goes, "Do you think these cars would ever run a single digit?" I think everybody must have been running probably like 12s, 11s, you know?
Yeah.
And we all laughed. We were like, that's not going to happen. I mean, we all had like thoughts and could it be possible? It obviously was possible.
Right.
But we were thinking about that. Like, do you think it's possible?
Yeah.
So we were already thinking, is it possible? Is this going to happen? Like,
Right.
And just sitting and having our dinners, late night dinners. Oh my gosh, just going to like St. Honor with Vit and just doing all like we would sit there. Everything was just car, generate everything. Like, what could we do?
Everything, right?
Life was cars.
Yeah, and innovation and like the things people would do.
Yeah.
Because you were talking about people would do the nitrous or the carbureted nitrous and
Like Tony.
Yeah, it's funny. I sit down with like Indo Jeff or a few other different people, and they're all telling the stories of swapping their car out to the ZC carbureted motor, which I was like, my second car was that black Integra, the DA Integra, the 1990, and it already had a B series in it, so I never had to swap it out to anything else. I didn't have to but to like make something that would bolt in the cars, it was only the ZC motor that would like bolt into the Civics.
Yeah, that thing was a popular hit, like the ZC. I remember ZC, and that thing was pretty freaking durable.
Yeah.
I remember freaking one customer, he was gonna get rid of the engine. He was going to swap. So I think he was going to like a B16 or a B18. We were like, let's see what this engine can handle. We were dumping all kinds of shit inside of it. That thing was still
yeah. Any of the G series, we couldn't blow them up. It was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We tortured cars. We even put him to the test. We didn't think the engine was worth anything. Come on, he's taking it out. He's
just
putting
full
a
throttle
B16
the whole
in there.
way. Yeah.
So
yeah. That's funny. And now some of those motors are like D series are starting to come up.
Yeah.
Everything's like hard to find.
Very popular.
Yeah.
And they're running 8s, 80s, 81s. They're running
on a D series.
On a D series.
Single cam 1.6 D series.
Yep.
It's
absolutely.
crazy.
It's crazy. It's like there's actually the H engines are becoming popular. I'm like, we tried these things, we just never liked them. Like,
like the twin cam H's? Yeah.
Yeah, like what?
Yeah.
So when I see this, I'm like, what are you talking? Like, we tried these like 100 years ago. Like dinosaurs, we put them in a dinosaur's ass. I mean, seriously, we tried them that long ago. How are you guys getting these things to run 8s? Like Stefan had it in his car. Like Stefan was the H guy, you know? And what the hell? Now they're running 8s, and you're like, oh, this is impossible. These guys.
This motor's no good.
Yeah, just go back to a B series, okay?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just wild nowadays. You know what that they're doing. That we just were like, whatever.
Right. Well, some people. I mean, Vit ran. I feel like Vit ran H, and there's a few people that ran H's.
I forgot. He had an H as well. A
few people had H's. Steph had the H.
But Stefan was. I forgot what it was. Maybe it was the transmission. Maybe it was the tranny. There was something about the transmissions.
Sucked.
Yeah. But we were running stock trannies at that time, right?
Right.
Then
they did like the H to B, and now they're starting to figure it out.
Yeah, they have adapters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah.
But before you couldn't buy anything.
No.
Yeah. Now you could buy every single thing.
Everything except you can't buy these damn blocks that are just freaking disappearing out of existence.
Oh, the billet blocks?
Oh well, billet blocks, sure, yeah.
Or just the factory blocks.
Factory blocks.
Oh, like a factory B18C.
Yeah, you can't buy a factory B18. Wow. I mean, you can't find them, and when you do, they're like $2,000-$3,000. They're like freaking ridiculous. So.
Really?
Yep, they are like gold.
Wow, I'm glad I kept some.
Yeah, you can sell them things for a pretty penny.
Or just put them together and run them.
Oh yeah, just blow them up, like send it, send it, max boost.
Yes, I got a sleeved one. I got some sleeves for another one I'm putting together.
Okay,
I still have my blue and white car.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, I still have that thing.
I've seen pictures of it. I've seen pictures, like on your IG.
Yeah. I did it all-wheel drive in 04, and then it was like no one to play with.
Oh, now you got a whole bunch of people to come play with.
Yeah. a little behind the game.
Yeah, you got the Subi guys, you got the Speed Factory guys,
Yeah.
you got all those dudes come play with it, and that looks like a very fun, like sandbox. Like,
Yeah, you think about all-wheel drive?
Yeah,
think
no,
about
not me.
No?
I'll stay front-wheel drive. If anything, I will still go rear-wheel drive.
Yeah.
But it would be something of like a Baby Extreme or something. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Like, I've always wanted to go to the rear-wheel drive. I wanted to go pro rear.
Right.
And now everything's in my hands. So
Yeah.
I'm the one that's calling the shots again. So that's a great thing.
Let's come to that. Let's start at your street racing, and then there's the Civic. So let's start at the egg. Let's tell the egg the Civi story.
Oh my God. That's
because I got a picture of that.
Like, do you want the shit that I went through with this car?
Yeah, like I love that
because this is fucking brutal.
I have a picture of it green on the
Tahitian
promotion, Tahitian green on the promotion cover, like the promotion ad.
Yep.
And I have a picture of that still.
Well, he was a street driver, and then when I got tossed in jail over it, I decided, okay, let's
talk about that. Let's talk about that
street
one.
race is getting tossed in jail.
Yeah.
Well, actually, technically, I didn't get tossed in jail right there. Okay, I'd be lying to you. What happened was I was driving. My father was at the street race, so my father had seen the cop pull me over, so the cops knew he was being watched.
Right.
So my father was watching him, and it was just a whole debacle. And when I went to court, what was I, 21?
Yeah.
Judge is like, it was going to be a $600 fine. And I'm like, I'm not paying $600. He says, you could make payments. I says, I just said I'm not paying $600. He says, you're going to go to jail. I said, put me in jail.
Right.
Oh, yes. So 14 hours in Orange County I spent in the orange jumpsuit.
Oh, man.
Full mug shot. So if anybody wants to go and think they're going to dig, you're going to find my mug shot. Because here I am, with all the fucking people that were, not going for their
OCJ.
parole and shit and
Yeah,
all that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
here I am. What are you in for? I'm all ready to get my freaking
Your
movie.
little
My fucking movie.
teardrops.
Because I have fucking...
Your little 3 dots.
Yeah, I'm in jail for the CVO.
Yeah.
So it was, I got out in 14 hours. I was supposed to spend 24 hours per conviction.
Right.
And what are they going to keep?
Yeah,
what are they
there's
going to
a
keep a
3-day
stupid
kick.
street racer in jail for?
There's like a 3-day kick anyways.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I was done in 14
Did you have to do
hours.
processing? Did you have to do the thing where you go through the full loop?
Bro, I had to shower. I don't shower in front of, like, I'm the most modest person. There was a lady sitting behind a thing, and then there was a lady next to me in a shower, and they wanted me to do that turnaround, and they were yelling at me, turn around. I'm not turning around. I'm standing with my ass facing them. I'm like, you're better off looking at this stinking shine. So I'm like, they're like yelling at me, turn around. Oh, it was, bro, I learned when everybody says, when you go into jail, you learn how to do that sit. You do, because you're sitting in holding. I went from holding
It's the worst.
to holding, and then
Yeah.
they put me in holding with this drunk bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, she was just crying. And I'm like,
Because you're 14 hours cell to cell to cell to cell to cell.
I had to, and then I got fucking, I'm always asking questions, and I full had to get the bed and everything. I spent the night. I had to do when they did the roll call and all. I was the bottom bunk, and they did a roll call, but I had to roll this shit up. They hand you like the mattress, your nightgown, your toothbrush, all that, and then you walk in a single file line behind whatever the cops are, or whatever they're called, and then
the
you
deputies,
get to before you get to you see the cell in the tank or the cell. They make you take everything, and they make you unwind it, like, and look at it. So I make a smart ass comment. I'm like, didn't you give this to us? What are you trying to do? Smuggle something? Oh, I got in trouble for that one too. Because I was like, it was the most ridiculous. I'm always like about common sense, and that was the most ridiculous thing. Like, didn't you guys give this to us? Like, why are you making us unroll it? Like, it makes no sense. Like, to me, I'm always trying to figure shit out. Like,
Right.
fuck around and find out. That's me. I invented that because I swear to God, I was always doing it.
Right.
So yeah, I spent 14 hours. They let me out, and I was like, I thought I was freaking Tupac, yo.
Right. Yeah, you thugged
out on
up.
bail for jail. I thought that was me for 14
For street racing, you know?
For street racing.
For street racing.
Mine was because I didn't want to pay the fine. I was like, I
Right.
was 21 or 22. I ain't got $600. I was working 4 jobs to support a damn
So where was
race
that?
car.
Where was that ticket from? Where did you get that ticket?
Beach and Imperial.
Beach and Imperial.
Yeah.
Dumping on the street, or where did you? No.
No. They got us as we came out.
Oh,
They got
okay.
us, so I wasn't racing or nothing.
Right.
So they saw the car had no seat. It had the nitrous bottle in the back. We just came from Battle of the Imports.
Right,
But
right.
the bottle wasn't hooked up, so technically they couldn't do anything. They'd call an officer to come down and look at this thing.
Going through the law book, trying to figure out where it was.
Yeah, like, oh my, I'm like, it's not hooked up. I mean, I had my Dickie jacket, and I used to cover the gauges and all that in the Civic. I used to cover that, so just not draw attention.
Right.
Civic was the biggest sleeper you'd ever see. You never even realize
Well, it was clean. It was clean.
Yeah, and it still had the DX hubcaps, like the intercooler was painted black. Like you just didn't even know this thing would put a hurting on you on the street.
Right.
But the cops, it was a nightmare.
Right.
So Civic and I have been through hell and back together.
Right.
So there was no way I would ever get rid of that car. Like there's no way.
Well, people don't realize what we went through to adhere to that culture.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
People don't know. Like we're in a blessed era where you can modify. Even in California. California is like really rough place to be modifying cars, but you could still do it. And if you did it back then, you were literally harassed.
Oh God, yeah.
People don't understand how harassed you were for just modifying a Honda.
Oh, remember when they do the 3 strikes? If they found 3 different modifications, they would impound your car.
Yeah.
But if they caught you at the street races, remember that was, I think that came a little bit, like Civic wasn't even on the streets at that time.
A little bit later, yeah.
It was later. But if they caught you street racing, they would impound your car and crush it. They were crushing cars.
Yeah. It was
So
like
there went all those
$500. It was like
B16 and B18
$500 if you were just hanging out at the street races.
Yeah, and they get you for aiding and abetting. If you're a passenger, they get you for aiding and abetting.
Right.
Yeah, they were brutal.
Yeah.
You couldn't. You could drive a truck, anything like that. You could haul ass past a cop.
Right.
NFG.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you did the same thing in a lowered ass freaking Honda,
Yeah.
game over.
Game over.
They were searching you. You just didn't. You were like, oh God.
And you knew.
Profiled.
But you knew, profiled.
Totally.
Crazy, right? And it's because we were adhering to a minority that didn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's our choice in culture, right?
We were like we were the Motley Crue. That's what we
Yeah.
were, the Motley
But it's
Crue.
wild. We would get pulled over. So street racing, you get pulled over.
Oh.
And it was like a full felony stop, guns out. You were treated very violently.
Very violently.
You were thrown to the ground. You were beaten.
Hands zip tied. And
Yeah, beaten.
I was never treated like that. So I won't. I can't act like I was. I wasn't. But I'd seen it.
Right.
I knew. I'd seen it plenty of times. It never happened to me.
I cracked ribs from cops.
Yeah, no. See, I did not have that ever happen.
Oh, I got beat up bad. Of course, I was street racing and I ran, but hey, you know what I mean?
Okay. The one time I ran, we got away.
Yeah.
We got away.
I
It was right
ran
in Ontario.
every time, and I got away probably 90% of the time, right? And the other 10% was not good.
Oh, I could imagine.
Not good. Yeah.
No, I've seen people get run over when they would try to run. People getting run over by cars just scattering.
Oh, yeah.
Under the bridge down in, what was it, Silmar?
Silmar, yeah.
Under the bridge. Boom, knocked right. Oh,
Is that Balboa? Balboa. I think that street is called Balboa.
I can't even remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember just seeing somebody get freaking hit by a car. Oh.
But that was rare. I feel like people rarely
It was like playing Frogger. Yeah, if you
know.
parked your car across the street, you should stay across the street and don't move 30 feet from your car, because the minute those cops come, everybody look like just squirrels all over, running, scattered.
But considering the time and considering what it was and considering the mass chaos that would happen when cops would show up, it felt like it rarely happened where somebody got hit.
Oh yeah, I didn't see it all the time.
You know what I mean? But we ran all the time.
I seen it twice of all the street racing.
But we ran from the cops when they showed up all the time.
No, I'd get out of it a lot. I can remember getting at my father, because my dad is such a bad influence with the Volkswagen.
Good influence.
Yeah, I know. It's like, you better hold your foot steady on the throttle, because I had a Nopi cam in the Fox. It's all he's like, you better hold your foot steady on that throttle. So I'm like, oh, damn it! So I'm holding my foot on the throttle. So and the officer comes and I'm like, you better talk, motherfucker. So my dad's talking. He's like, I don't know what's going on. It was a raid. I don't know what's going on. My daughter and I were just going to Denny's down the street. We were going to go have some dinner, and then all these cars here, and my car fits the profile. I don't know. got me out of it.
Oh, man.
My dad would get me out of the most craziest stuff. But I did as he said. He wanted me to hold that damn thing steady so they can't hear the cam logo.
Yeah.
So we got
a race car.
Can you imagine the cop when
That's so cool. I mean, backing up, I didn't even comment on the fact that he street raced with you in the car. That is so cool.
Yeah,
You can't do that anymore.
No.
Like, you can't, like, those things in that
Can't even
era,
street
you can't,
race.
but you can't even, like, if you have a kid at a street race, you get, like, child endangerment or something like that.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my God. No.
But
I
that's
mean,
like...
street race fights. I mean, that was my first fight at a street race. I wasn't fighting, you know. I like a whole lot of 8 years old and some freaking fat bitch. My mom is nothing like me, and my mom is nothing like I'm a spitfire, just like my father was.
Okay.
And my father had gotten in a race with these dudes that were cheating.
Right.
So it 3 dudes, 2 were holding my father back, and one's over here just beating the shit out of my dad. His friend didn't help him. Nobody jumped in to help him. My dad, one of the guy's chicks, grabbed my mom. This was on Walnut Grove. Grabbed my mom out of the car. My mom wasn't bothering nobody. She doesn't bother nobody. So this lady walks over. My mom had just been in a car accident. So she had the whiplash thing, but she'd taken it off. Me and my sister were in the back seat. Grabs my mom out of the car, yanks her out of the car.
Right, wow.
And beat the living shit out of my mom. And I saw this, and I'm a whole lot, because Stephanie was probably 8, 7, 6. Stephanie was probably about 5 or 6, so which made me about 8 or 9.
Right.
I can remember I was wearing my Holly Hobby pajamas.
Yeah.
I got out of the car.
Some gangster
I was
stuff,
hood.
huh?
I was hood. Got out. I jumped on this lady's back, and I'm a child. It's not doing anything, but I'm mollywopping this lady as hard as I can at 8 years old. My father saw that. My father saw that. His daughter, because remember, we all know number one child is always the firstborn. So the golden child is in a fight. Mom's on the ground getting the shit. My mom had a concussion. That fat bitch.
Wow.
My mom doesn't know how to fight.
Right.
I try to teach her even still now. She won't. So my dad flipped shit, whooped 3 motherfuckers' asses.
Yeah.
Came over, and moves me, and he yanks this chick up like this. And as he's yanking her, she backhands me. My dad lost his shit. He threw that bitch so fucking far, she went into the street. I will never forget. So I was already getting rowdy at like 6, 7, or 8 years old. Somewhere like, because my sister's like almost 3 years younger than me, and Stephanie was baby, so she didn't get out of the car. But here I am. Can you imagine me all gangster in my Holly Hobby pajamas?
Holly Hobby, that's
a little
okay.
long ass freaking nightgown at the street races. Oh my God!
So 8-year-old thug, right?
Started. So I was destined.
You're destined for greatness. You know,
destined to be like some feisty little saucy person.
Yeah,
you know?
that's Sicilian. You know, I know, Siciliano. Yeah, hey, Siciliano.
Yeah. So
what's the matter, you? Hey, forget about it.
These are stories I just tell people, but it's funny to actually like tell some, and then people are gonna be like, oh my God, there's you have some screws loose. I'm sure they look at me like that, but they're gonna be like, we better get the Loctite on this one. we better get the blue and the red. We better mix the purple in there too. This one's got more than a screw loose.
It's like a fruit flavor of Loctite right there.
They're gonna have to do something.
You ever accidentally taste Loctite?
No, I don't.
I accidentally tasted Loctite one time. It has a sweet, kind of weird taste to it.
You know what?
Don't ever. That's probably what happened to me.
I'm not the type of person that eats, paint chips either.
Well, I was a Marine, so crayons. It's only
crayons.
It's it's
see, I didn't.
It's the gateway substance.
The gateway.
Got to snack on something,
Yeah, and you got the freaking crayons. I'm gonna try some crayons.
All right, so the Civic is now you've gotten your final. You've gotten your final. Probably you got your stripes, your jail stripes, right? And now, you know what I mean. Your thug life officially, right?
Yeah, gangster.
And now you're taking the Civic more seriously, the Civi more seriously.
Yep.
Right.
Oh yeah. Civi went down. That was rough. I mean, good thing I was so young.
Because when you took it off the street, it was going. How fast was it going? Probably had to be 11s.
11s. Yeah. Running 11s on the street. So that was a fast ass car on the street. Yeah. Especially a Honda car.
Everyone. I think that was around the time people started taking their cars off the street.
Yeah. Well, when it blew up, there was the choice to be made. Does it want to be rebuilt as a street car, or now that everything wasn't, like more people, Frank was starting to start battle and stuff like that. So it's like, that sounds pretty cool. Cause I went to the first battle, not with Civi, not with anything. You remember Charlie Barnes?
Yeah.
And he passed away.
Yeah.
Charlie Barnes, I went with all of the guys from Zero Gravity. I went up there with them.
Wow.
So I drove
Zero
Charlie's
Gravity. I
car.
haven't heard Zero Gravity in so long. Wow.
I have pictures with them. I have VHS
Yeah.
of us just having fun, just kids. So I went with them. They had me go up there. So I went to the very first battle, and I drove Charlie Barnes. I drove Sonny,
Wow.
the SCR. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've known Charlie. I knew Charlie for a very long time. I'm like, God, all those guys.
Yeah.
So you know, I was given the opportunity. Do you want to build it, or do you want to keep it streetable? And I says, you know what? Let's take a look into the industry. What could possibly? I always like to try to look at something that as maybe it could be possible. Is there a possibility? And there, in my mind, there was a possibility that this could be something, because I always wanted to drive a fuel car. So I was like, well, this could be something to just start and learn how to drive cars and, you know, and stuff like that.
And why'd you want to drive a fuel car? What was your inspiration for that?
It's just, I like, I don't know, how do you say, like, I like fear. Like, I love the more scary anything can be,
Right.
the more fearless I become.
Wow.
So it's like, maybe now, then is, you know, it was like that. I don't know what it's like now.
Can't.
I mean,
I
I'm still pretty fearless now. Like, I'm not afraid of shit. Like, I'm not afraid of shit.
Right.
And back then it was like, I don't care. Like, I really don't care. Like, let's you know, drive a fuel car. Like, why not?
Right.
But I grew up around that, remember? Because my family was all into the V8 cars.
Yep.
So that's something that I just always naturally, and I fell in love back then, that I loved those cars.
Right.
So it was something that I wanted to do. I was like, I want to drive one. I'll be the next Shirley. You know, I'm going to meet her, and she's going to be my mom, and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
She hasn't claimed me as her child. Just
Did you get to meet her and hang out, of course?
I turn into a child when I see her, and I want to hug her. My mom gets so. There's your
If
mom.
you explain to him who you're talking about,
Shirley Modowney.
Yeah.
She's the greatest. You know, she's not the first. There's other, you know, women that were the first in motorsports, but Shirley was just the first. She was the first champion. Just so much, and just so much history and the shit she went through with the men. And, you know, stuff like that. She's a Spitfire. She still is.
Yeah.
But every time I see her, I always hug her and I call her mom. She must think I'm freaking nuts. And then I start crying. That's the only time you don't see. I have zero emotion for anything other than animals and Shirley Muldowney. I hug her and I'm like,
you start tearing up.
I tear up. Wow. Like, I feel like a little girl, like when I was waiting in line to get her autograph. You ask my mom. I'm like, my mom will be like, "There's your mom." I'm like, oh, Shirley. My mom gets so upset. I'm like, Shirley.
That's cool though.
I always tell my mom, I'm trading you off.
But I mean, look where it led you. I mean, that kind of just the love for, the admiration for somebody who does that. That's super cool.
Just what she did. You know, I remember being that little kid, and I waited in line, me and Stephanie, my sister, waiting in line to get that autograph, and it was just the way she was. You know, so many people have different stories, but my story with her was nothing like everybody says, oh, she's this. You know what? When the kids step up, that's when it may change with adults. Right. Right? But when the kids are there, you'll never forget. That's why I never forgot. Kids don't forget. So that's why you don't treat a child like shit that wants an autograph, a picture. Never do it. I don't care who the fuck you are. Yeah. You know, like, you're no better. That child might want to grow up to be you. Look what happened. Shirley was great to me and my sister. Right. Made me want to grow up to be just like her. Yeah. Wanted to be just like her.
I remember my first motorsports like that. Yeah. Was Mario Andretti. On Beach Grand Prix. Got to sit inside the Formula car, you know.
Oh, wow.
And it was just like, you know, you're a kid, you can't see out of it. You know, you're the top of, and the Formula cars are tiny, but the top is up, and you're just like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
It's like the coolest day of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the drags are always the coolest days of my life.
Yeah. So that's what you saw. You saw a future.
Yeah. I felt as though there could have been a future. So I said, pull it off the street. And I went and worked 4 jobs. You know, everybody, I laugh, and I hope one day this will all go away, but people will probably fuck with me and say, you know, they'll fuck with me. My parents didn't put a single penny. They hated the car. They hated everything about front-wheel drive. They hated Toys for Tots and this and that. So, like I'd said. Right. So, it was working 4 jobs. I sold my street car Tercel. So I can I needed to buy the front mount intercooler. Sold my car. I sold a damn regular car that got me to and from work, and now I had to get rides. Yeah. Because I needed to get parts. I'll stop at nothing for the Civic. For some reason, there's something about the Civic. I will stop at nothing. I will be bleeding to death to get whatever that damn car needs.
That's the drive. That's what it took.
Yeah, you can't get me to do that for anything else and anybody else's cars or anything. But when it's my Civvy, like clear, if I feel like that's why it's my baby. It's my baby.
Right. That's
my child right there. Like I guard it with my life.
Yeah.
He's got his uncles now that he's hanging out with down in Florida, but they guard it with that.
Right.
They know how close I am. I'm the fucking weirdo that'll walk in and talk to my car. I legit walk in and talk to my car. I talk to my car as it's like a third person here. Like, Civvy, so how you doing today? So what'd you learn today? Like, I talk to my car.
No,
I would sit in my car and talk to it.
But that's a real thing.
I do.
Right? I recently got my girlfriend her dream car, which is a 91 Volvo wagon. Right?
Oh, my, yeah.
A brick. Right?
Yeah, straight.
And so she was having, it doesn't want to run right for her. Right?
Yeah.
And so she was like, it just doesn't run right for me. It doesn't start and this and that. I was like, did you talk to it?
Yeah.
She's like, friends. No. I said, why aren't you talking to it? She's got feelings too.
Yeah.
And man, I tell you what, I said, you got to rubber dash a little bit and just talk nice. And nice. Sure enough, she's like, I feel like an idiot. I said, well,
nope.
Talk nice. So she talked nice to her, fired right up.
No, yeah, you just gotta love your car knows.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you spend so much time. Like, Civvy and I have spent countless nights with me just sleep. I would sleep in the car. Like, I was like that with the Saturn car, too. I needed to know these cars. Like, I felt as though I had to have that connection. I had to find that connection. I had to, like, we're all, right, everybody anybody that's in any kind of a sport, motorsport, we're all, here we go with the Loctite, okay? Yeah. I got more than 3 screws loose in this freaking head. I'll tell you that. And it was like, I felt as though I needed to be one with both my cars, like to understand them, to feel like I'm one of them. That way, because people say, oh, you go into your driver's mindset and this and that. I don't have a driver's mindset, okay? You could talk to me clear into the freaking water box. It doesn't, I'm not that driver that freaking is like, I need to be serious and put my visor down and I'm, no, hell no. I want people to come open the door. People do it all the time. They would come throw the door open and talk to me. I freaking love it. Right. You could talk to me. You could come. I could do a damn burnout if I'm backing up. And if you decide you're going to be some crazy ass motherfucker and you want to come throw the damn door open and take a selfie, I'm going to smile for you. Right. Because I love it. Like it's, but that's not my mindset. My mindset is right after everything on the doors close. And then I put my visor down. I take my one final breath. It goes final breath. Visor down, right, and then that's when I'm in my mindset. Right. Then I don't hear shit around me. I don't know. Right. I don't know anything that's going on. Nothing that's going. So that's where I found. So with the cars, I felt as though I always pushed myself to. I wanted to be a machine. That was my thing. Right. I needed to be a machine. I needed to couldn't because we didn't have lockout gears. Our shit, you could miss a gear. Yeah. So I needed to be one with the car to the point where I never missed a gear. Right. Never missed a gear, and then I would be able to say, I am a machine. Right. That was my whole drive. It's
connecting with that machine. Yeah,
it's having a crazy connection with the car. And
it's a relationship.
Yeah.
And people don't understand. If you're not a car person and you're tuning into this, and
you're going to be like, this person's nuts.
Well, I mean, it's a relationship. And there's something that, if you have a relationship, somebody that you love very much, you take the time to get to know them. Yep. And the amount of hours and the amount of money and the amount of just time that we spend with these pieces of metal and machine and fuel.
A bunch of money.
And I mean, it's like there's part of our soul goes into these things.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And, oh my gosh, yeah. Because you had to lose there was one point or another you're going to lose your soul to you have to give up. Or is your family like some people? It didn't happen to me, but some people be like they're giving up their families. Like choose your car or your family. Fine, thanks for raising me. I'm going with my car. So you have to.
I've lost so many relationships over cars, over just like working in the garage, building something. I've lost so many relationships. Yeah, just like. They get tired of hanging around the garage waiting to, and then by the time you like clean up and maybe go get some food and you're covered in grease, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it was you're fucking
I've heard me or your car too many times.
Oh yeah. See, I never understand. Like when women say stuff like that, I'm like, oh no, please, nobody think I'm like that. Like people do whatever you want. Like I've always been like, what? Hey. Do like guys do whatever the hell you want. That's I'm gonna you do you, honey boo boo. I'll do me.
Right.
So it's gonna be like that, you know. Like,
Yeah, I learned to weed them out a little bit.
Yeah.
I used to take them for like really gnarly canyon drive quick before
Then
we went
kick
to
the
the
door
thing.
open?
No, if they started screaming, I would do the U-turn and then just drop them back off. Like, this ain't gonna work.
Oh yeah, we ain't gonna have.
Yeah, the ones who were just
don't have
like,
a future.
that was cool. They were like, that was cool. I'd be like, all right,
Yeah,
cool.
because there was hardly any broads that would be at the street races like
Yeah,
back then.
yeah.
So it was very few of us.
So what's that? I mean, that's something too. Is that just like a real male-driven sport?
Yeah.
Being the only female or one of the first female to really like do anything or like push your way through that. What's that like?
Well,
Oh wait, hold on. I think we lost the camera. Being the only woman or the first woman in like sport compact drag racing to really like do incredible things. Like, what's that like? I'm sure you get asked this a lot. I'm sure it's kind of an
I know,
old
and
question,
I give a generic answer.
but not the
because
generic answer.
You want the real answer.
I want the real answer.
The real answer. A lot of the guys, I'm lucky because I knew them, right?
Right.
So I had a lot of friendships.
Right.
But there were some that they were not about having a girl in the class, or you know, it wasn't even professional at that time. We were just still goofing off at battle and stuff.
Right.
They weren't fans of a female having a car, so they would talk shit about me, and I would. Back then, it was like the AOL chat days, and I can remember mean things people would say about me, and I'm just like, I stopped. I even to this day, like I'll tell you right now, to this day, I'm still scarred. Like I don't go on the internet. I've probably watched maybe a dozen of my own interviews because I'm so critical going, well, somebody's probably saying this. I'm so critical because people used to talk so much shit and everybody would be like, Leeches, just stop it. I was so worried about what people thought. I don't give a fuck now. I don't give a fuck. Like,
Right.
I had to learn that it was like a dog eat dog world. So if I was going to come into a male industry, I was very quiet. Like I wasn't like right now, this is who I am.
Right.
I was hiding who I was because I was just, you know, I didn't want to offend. Like even then I was too worried because I was the only girl. I didn't want to start trouble. I didn't want to be drama. I didn't want anybody to have a reason to have eyes on me, even with the race car, because I was like, God, I don't want to start problems. And
You don't want to give them ammo.
I didn't want to do anything. So that's why what originally happened, I could tell you what happened it was early when the car first came out. The car had good numbers. We used to run street legals.
Right.
Brought the car out there. I couldn't get the car into gear to save my life, first or second. Here's my one, and it carried on for years. I cannot drive a car with a short shifter in it.
Right.
Bergenholz cannot either. But anyways, that was the cause why I couldn't get in gear. Well, I was a pit crew, and I was with Witch, and I was with Sue and Jen. And Charles came around the corner. He goes, you know what? I'm not going to say the team said about you. I said, what? And he says, well, they didn't even know who I was. They didn't know that was me. That's how low-key I kept everything.
Right.
It says they should sell that car or put a different driver in it because Lisa, you know, because they wasted a lot of money on it. That was my fucking money. I worked 4 fucking jobs.
Right.
To put everything into this car. So that hurt me.
Yeah.
Come future, when they asked me to test their car, guess who drove the mother effing shit out of their car? And I got the fucking payback. And they're like, what do you think of the car? I think it's a piece of shit.
Should sell it.
It was
Get your money
my
back.
only words. Think it's a piece of shit. But I had people that were like that. But good thing I just kept to myself and I didn't want to, and I just, you know, I put my head down and I just says, just concentrate on yourself. Worry about yourself. Why are you worried about what these guys think?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, a lot of them, I'm lucky, a lot were my friends.
Yeah.
But there was the newcomers that weren't with us in the street races, weren't any of that. Me with the street racers was a different story.
Yeah,
we're all
well, they're
homies.
family, right?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
all homies. But the new guys that were coming, they would just talk so much. And I'm like, whatever. So I would, at Harv's, you know Harv's.
Yeah.
Car used to be dynoed there. So because I couldn't drive, according, we didn't know until after with the short shifter thing. My car would stay strapped to the dyno. Every single day after work, I'd go down there. And remember when first gear would haul off, you know, you'd spin the tires?
Yeah.
That's how I practiced how to overcome tire
Really?
spin. I taught myself how to drive.
On the dyno?
On the dyno. First gear.
What?
Whine! Pull the fucking second gear. It's all I need to do first or second gear. Feel that first or second gear. It's because, you know, that's the hardest part is first or second gear.
Right.
It's just to see what it feels like. It's going to be the same thing all the time. Then
just to feel that and listen and hear
it.
that.
And that's why I'm deaf when people are like, Lisa, and I don't hear Lisa, and they think I'm not listening. No, I'm deaf because I was on the dyno.
Wait, what?
Too busy listening. Exactly. That's why I got this where I can hear on one side because it's the one ear. I always like tell people to talk in this ear.
Yeah.
And then it would be Friday nights Friday nights. It would be Friday. Come pick the car up from Harvey's. Bring the car up to Test and Tune at Palmdale.
Right.
Practice. Just keep going. Practice.
Right.
Saturday morning, car stayed on the trailer. Saturday morning, drove down to Carlsbad. And I says, I will not bring this car out until it runs a 10-second pass.
I miss Carlsbad.
I know.
Yeah,
It was fun. It was back into the wall.
Back into the wall. Yeah.
But yeah, I did not bring that car out. I says, I will not bring this car out until I run a 10-second pass. And it ran a 1090. And that was my first battle right after that. Was right after that when I took runner-up.
Oh, okay.
I took runner-up to Bergenholtz. They had a faster car. They beat me.
Right.
So I was, believe me, I disappeared. I went underground for an entire year, 7 days a week. I was the fucking car teaching myself. And I came out and look how it turned out because you can only like not all, again, I never say the guys, but you can only bully someone for so long before they're going to whoop the fuck out of you. And I did. I whooped the fuck out of the ones that were talking shit.
You just showed up and showed what you got. Yeah.
Yeah. I just showed up and that's what it was like. Like I still kept quiet. I was always very quiet. Always.
It's got to sting, but that's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah. No, because, you know, I don't forget what people had said, like what I seen shit on the internet. Even now, like people said shit and it was like, well, I think about even now when I went into bodybuilding. I was I'm nationally qualified.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I bet you these people that were talking shit are fat ass ho ding dong eating motherfuckers
on their keyboard.
And I'm doing
or whatever.
what only 1% of the entire world could do is have that discipline.
Right.
5% start out on stage, or 5% start out on the journey. 1% make it to stage. I was that 1%. I proved to myself that I still had discipline long before I wanted to even go back. But you know, things like that. It was my health issues. I didn't know. God, we didn't have damn WebMD.
Yeah.
I still won't go on WebMD because I should have been dead already. All my symptoms and
crazy,
shit. But yeah, so it was brutal doing that. And I just, no matter what, just kept a smile. Always don't let it phase you. Yeah. And I learned just tune everything out and just don't ever let it phase you.
That's some good advice for anyone listening or anyone watching.
Male, female. I try to tell people, just give it time. Just don't listen to people. Don't listen to what they have to say to you or what they say about you. Right. Because the reason why they're saying it, look at them.
Yeah.
They hate themselves.
Consider the source. Yeah.
Yeah, look at them. Yeah. They're sitting in a stand. Yeah. Who are they? They don't even have the money nowadays to buy a fucking turbo you have on your car. Right. Don't even worry about it. Yeah, I say that to people nowadays. Like,
I remember when the MTV show came out and Honda Tech. It was Honda Tech days.
Oh God,
right?
Yeah.
And I remember going on to Honda Tech, and I'll never forget it. I think I was at Pro Drive at the time still, and I would just look at what people would have little threads about me and about this and that, and it was like people would say some pretty terrible things, and people would say some pretty cool things backing me up or whatever. But it's the terrible things that you pay attention to. You don't forget.
And it's like, why? What is your opinion doing for my race car? Is your opinion making my car faster? Is your opinion spitting out like an ATM to pay for this car? Right. No? Okay, then why don't you just shut your trap and turn around and keep walking? Like I'm lucky because now it does not happen to me. It never happened after all of that. So that's why I'm always so happy and with everybody.
Your efforts and your strive and the money you spent and everything you did and your ability and your strive for perfecting being a better driver and all of that stuff, you became a legend. I
just did it, and all it ever started out was because I loved what I did.
Because you love
and
what
I love
you did.
people. I love being around people.
Yeah.
I could talk and talk and talk all day long. I could talk people's head till their ears fall off, start bleeding, until they're like, Lisa, it's been 7 days, I need to eat. Like, I could talk. Like, it's just...
Right.
I don't mind.
But I think that's the real core of it, is you get good at what you love.
Yes. Yeah. You care more about how everything is.
Right.
And how everything is structured around it.
Right.
So I gave a shit about everything that I did. I gave a shit about the guys. Right. I gave a shit. So it's like what you feed out into the universe. It's exactly what you're going to attract.
Right.
So I always would want to put out good. Everybody knew you can come to my trailer. Everybody knew we would lend you something.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't, just return it. That's fine.
Right.
But everybody knew that. You put out what you want back. And we didn't do that on purpose. We weren't trying to, be like, hey, we're going to get all these applause. It was just because we wanted, and we gave a shit about an industry growing. If you didn't have the guy in the lane next to you because you were too much of an asshole to lend him a set of axles that you have, then you're just a fucking asshole and you shouldn't be in the industry.
There wasn't too many of those, but there was.
Yeah.
There was some of them, but there wasn't too many.
Yeah, no. But if you don't give if you don't give a fuck, then you shouldn't be here, because this is something we were kids, we weren't professionals, we weren't nothing, and we gave a shit about each other and how each other grew together. So it's all like kids growing up together. We all started in our 20s and we ended in our 30s together. 10 years of life together.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
Freaking 3 days at the weekend, and then all the days.
All the street race history before that and all that stuff.
So much. I know.
Yeah.
So I always say my generic answer was, the guys were so awesome to me. No, motherfuckers, they weren't all awesome to me. I mean, with you, I'll tell the damn truth. What I mean? Like, what do I care? Like,
but how do you feel now? I mean, not just talk about not just about you, but about women coming up in motorsports now.
Oh, I love it, because I see it. It still bothers the men.
I think it's getting less and less, though.
You got to remember, this is a male-dominated sport. There's ego. There's testosterone walking around here.
Yeah.
So there's ego, testosterone, and even though a guy is like rooting, they're like, yes, it's a girl. The motherfucker don't want to be beat by a girl. It's just to me, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, it is what it is. I laugh because I could see it, and I'm like, it's just a male. I mean, you get used to that. This is a male-dominated sport. Okay, you get in where you fit in, so you have to be like one of the boys. Like, you don't go waving. I never waved in the dudes' faces. I'm a chick. I got a set of tits, and I'm going to whoop your ass. I never did that.
Right.
Like, I never did. Like,
I know.
It would not happen. Like, that could never come out of my mouth, and it never will.
Right.
But I never tried to poke bears.
I just felt like you considered yourself a competitor.
Yeah, that's all I was.
Yeah.
All I was how can we make this industry, because we saw when it started to pick up. So never drop that ball. Right. That's all we cared about, was don't drop the ball. Keep it rolling. They got a whole, there's a whole bunch of us that we're all here together like soldiers.
Yeah.
And we're all taking that front line. We're taking hits by the domestic guys calling us names. We're getting hits by this, hit by that.
And then we're smoking them, and then we're proving everybody wrong. Yeah.
So it was we were like a bunch of soldiers, just one by one. We just kept taking those hits and
bunch of rebels
and fought through.
Bunch of rebel soldiers.
We were a bunch of nutcases. it just hasn't stopped.
So your first, the first woman in the 10s.
11s too.
First woman in the 11s, 10s, 9s, 8s. And you were the first front-wheel drive in the 7s.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's huge.
Yeah. I think I was number two to the 9s, because it was Stefan Bergenholtz and me.
Yeah.
So Stefan was chassis car. Bergenholtz and me.
That's got to feel good to be the first. Because they're not. We're still in the 7s.
Yeah.
Right? So we're still in the 7s. So you're the first.
Well, front-wheel drives, yes.
Front-wheel drives.
Front-wheel drives.
But you're the first to go there.
Yes.
Right. Not as a woman, but as a competitor.
Actually, this month, let me see, I think it's on the 19th. In 10 more days, it'll be 19 years that the Saturn, we went 7th first.
Florida. Was it Florida?
West Palm. Yeah. Moroso, West Palm.
Yeah, Moroso.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, those were exciting times.
And you were just shy of 200.
Yeah, 198. I think 198 was in St. Louis.
Right.
Yep. 2 miles an hour. Right there. Right there. Just need a little bit of back force wind, and got that 200-mile-an-hour jacket. That was my next goal, was that 200-mile-an-hour jacket, because it was it would have been the first front-wheel drive to take a rear-wheel drive jacket. You know what I mean? Back then, remember, they were given the first front jacket, and then they had however many cars, the first 12 or something like that, to 200.
Yep.
So we were like, when it happened, Aura and them were flipping. Oh my God, this is going to be the first front wheel drive to take a rear wheel drive jacket. That's why it was a big deal. And it just didn't happen. But we weren't striving for that.
Right.
We weren't even striving for the 7s.
It just happened. Yeah.
It just happened. Right. It just happened. Even still now, I tell people, do not try, because the more you chase it, the further it's going to run. So I never chased the 7s. I didn't chase 7s. I didn't chase 8s. I didn't chase 9s. It happened.
Right, you just built a solid car.
Yeah, we had a solid car, solid team. Everything was, I mean, immaculate, perfect, more than quadruple checked. Everything spare if anything happened. I mean, it was even with the Civic, I had more than enough spare.
And you were still a privateer team then, right? Under a GM banner.
Well, not it was just a GM car.
Right.
But yes, we were. It was Saturn Motorsports. If people look back, I have pictures of the Saturn when I forget Wes's last name, but Saturn Motorsports was a dealership.
Right.
So they were at the Battle of the Imports because I remember when Frank Choi called us, we were on our way.
I still have a Saturn Motorsports throttle body from like a
Oh my God.
twin cam something Saturn something. I don't know how I ended up with it. It has the Saturn Motorsports on it with like the flame or something on it.
Oh yeah. No, they showed up and they were running around a long time. So they weren't no newcomers. The team that I was with was like the Saturn Motorsports banner. They weren't new like Saturn Motorsports. Oh, who's this team that Lisa's with? They had been there almost as long as me.
Yeah.
Because Frank Choi called us when we were all on our way to the East Coast. What was I going to? Maybe an IDRC. Definitely chasing championship. Frank says, "What do I do?" He goes, we're like, "What?" And he says, "There's a Saturn car here. It's an American car. What do we do? Do we let it in?" I was like, "Yeah, you let that thing in." He's like, "But what are people going to think?" I'm like, "It doesn't matter. It's all about diversity. There's people out there. That's a whole new platform for you.
Front wheel drive. Yeah.
Front wheel drive.
Send it.
Yeah, exactly. Send it." He let him run.
Yeah.
And then they turn around, however many years later. But yeah, I have a picture of that car.
Went because we talk about Sport Compact. We talk about the rise of the Sport Compact, but it was the imports.
It was imports, yeah.
And then probably then
Amateur Import Racing Association.
Yeah,
I mean, we were
AIRA.
import cars, import racing. Then it turned to Sport Compact because you had
Saturns,
the big guys that came in. Ford, Mopar, and GM.
Yep.
So you had them come in. So you had to have,
Right.
but they were just trying to show their platforms that, hey, we got front wheel drive cars and we're our Ecotech cars and stuff like that. So they weren't new.
They were
They were scoping because when I was racing in Carlsbad, I was supposed to be the first GM driver.
No, really.
Oh yes, and so Ford scoped me when I was down in Carlsbad. Ford scoped me, and that never materialized. Well, GM scoped me, and I can't remember where they scoped me, but it was Harry Turner.
Okay.
And I talked to Harry Turner, and I would talk to all those people. Met with them this was a year. For a year, I was talking to them, and they wanted to build the first Pro Front. And I would have Jim Skelly from NHRA. I was like, 24, 23. I was a kid. I was a little kid, and I wanted a future in drag racing. No matter what, if it was going to be imports, it was going to be something. I wanted to stay in motorsports. So Jim Skelly, I'd have him on there to mediate with, because you're talking the president of the motorsports side of General Motors talking to me, and I'm a kid.
Right.
So they could easily, and I didn't want anybody to sway or anybody to do anything that was going to be shiesty against me, my team, because you're pulling me out of the Honda car.
Right.
So
and that's your love.
That was my love. Yeah. That's where I started. So everything came down, and all after I don't know how many talks we had on the phone and whatnot, they sent the contract over. We were going over the contract. Do you know they didn't want my team? Do you know the reason why I did not take the General Motors contract?
Wow.
Because my team.
They didn't want your team.
They didn't want my team. And the way I saw it was I did not become this person without those people.
Right.
So I passed up a very, very healthy deal.
Right.
Because my team.
Yeah, that says a lot about you.
I'm very, very loyal to the people that surround me, because I don't believe that, you see, you could build a race car, you could have the best tuner and have the best driver altogether, or you could mix match it. Yeah. To me, my team on the Civic, even the Saturn, those were my life. Like they were everything to me. I would protect them with my life.
Right. Well, it's a family.
Yeah. So
you don't sell out your family.
No, you don't.
No.
I see. Like I was saying, there's dirty people. I was not one of those.
Right.
I've never screwed a sponsor over. Never did anything. And General Motors. That's why if you see General Motors had such a hard-on against me. Why do you think?
Because you said no.
Because I said no. What 20-something-year-old kids passing up a 6-figure fucking paycheck just to drive a car?
Wow.
Get whatever car you want on the showroom floor or whatever as your driver. And I passed all this up.
Wow.
Passed it up.
They wouldn't budge, huh? On your team.
They would not. They said because they have engineers. They had engineers. So I will. Wow. So I will always remain true to my team. Like
Yeah.
these guys would have my back. They were my ride or dies. So it would not be fair for me to say, okay, bye guys, thank you, you helped me. No, because that's karma.
They just wanted to pluck you out of that and put you into their own program, right?
Yeah, it was Nelson named her Trixie, but right before Stephanie Reeves. Mm-hmm. So it was before Stephanie Reeves. I was supposed to be. They wanted a female because General Motors, they do give towards like a lot of breast cancer and stuff. So
Diversity,
stuff like that. Yeah, they wanted that because I was going to be the voice for that, the face for that, do all that good stuff. Tell me why, when they chose a female, which was Stephanie, when somebody said, Lisa, your name's in Forbes 500 or something like that, I'm like, oh, how do you make any money? Won't you like Forbes negative 500? They had a write up on General Motors.
So that's crazy. Yeah, six-figure you passed up. Six-figure.
Yeah.
You passed up just to, just stay true. Stay true to your team.
I have my team's back from start to finish.
Yeah.
So
that's beautiful. So then I got to be part of your program too, with axles and drivetrain.
No, you know what I have and I found? The old the leaflet or whatever with the Civic on there. I'm like, oh my gosh. I had all this stuff. I was going to bring some pictures and stuff, and they're all at home.
That's cool. We can, if I scan them or get pictures of them, I could throw them up because I think I still have that leaflet too.
Okay. Yeah, it's like the fold out 3-page.
And I took the picture on there, and I sponsored the car.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because we were NSX axles.
Yeah, NSX spline axles and the hub.
Big old snouts, man.
Yeah.
Woo.
They worked.
They did.
Yeah.
We didn't break.
Yeah. And then we put them on your car, and we had them on Bergenholtz's car.
Yep, because this is on the.
And then who else do we? Gary Gardella.
Was it Gardella too?
Yeah, we had Gardella, and then I think Sav on Sav's car.
Sav's car.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a few of us that ran around.
Yeah.
Big old ass things. God.
Yeah,
we needed the weight, right?
Yeah, but they worked. I mean, everything else was breaking at the time.
Yeah, that was. Boy, axles were a nightmare when they broke.
Right, and that was the only thing holding the hot rod class, which is now like sport front wheel drive.
Yeah.
It was the axles. The drivetrain was the only thing holding it back.
Oh, yeah, because it'd be like when you break a and you're like, you might as well, you look like one of those little toy airplanes going in circles. That's what it was like.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh my God.
Especially on like a spool or a welded, it was just like a hard left or hard right.
Yeah, you weren't going. If you couldn't catch that shit quick, you were ending up in the next lane or you're ending up in the wall.
That's got to be the scariest. I mean, I've broken axles. I know how it feels on a spool, but it's scary.
I mean, mine were just off the line, so I never had any
half track brake.
Never.
Yeah.
No, it was only right off the line.
Oh man.
Sure. Boy, but you get a little pissed off. I won a race because nobody thought about it. We were in San Antonio, and whoever to the finish line wins. I forgot who I was running, and mine broke an axle, and I'm like, I lost the race. I didn't see nobody coming up.
Just stayed on it.
Whoa, all the way down the track. Get the car back. Freaking change the axles.
I think I remember that.
I think it was San Antonio.
Yeah.
I was in the right lane. I forget who I was running, but I can remember I was like, I don't see anybody because you can't move. I couldn't see anybody coming. I'm like, shit, go.
Remember that? I think I was crewing for Aaron Schley at the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. It was a good track.
That was fun. We used to be like wild down there. He'd let us get wild down there.
Yeah.
Shit, if we want to run with helmets, we didn't have to.
Oh yeah. Wild West.
Yeah.
Remember Houston track?
Oh yeah.
Remember when it got
the
flooded?
That was bad. That was such bad news.
That was crazy.
I was lucky. I wasn't staying in downtown Houston. We were staying at La Quinta or something like that. We were a little bit out of town.
Yeah.
And I can remember we were all in the swimming pool. Remember, it was so hot. Well, me and the team, we all just jumped in the swimming pool when we got back, just relaxed. And we're like, damn, it ain't stopped.
I think we were all at the La Quinta.
It was out, yeah.
Yeah.
We weren't where anything got flooded. Right. Houston, downtown Houston, all that.
Oh, the hotel, your hotel didn't get flooded? No, we were at a flooded hotel.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I was not.
So we left the track. I drove so this is 2000.
Is it 00 or 01?
2000.
I was going to say 00 or 01.
I drove my right-hand drive Integra out there, and I was shooting for a Maxed Out video. I was doing the Maxed Out video thing.
Yeah.
And so I got out there, and I just got to the track, and it was like you're closing up test and tune, and we were driving back. It started raining at the track, so we're like, all right, cool, we better get back to by the time we got back to the hotel, the street was like this much, and it was like just the water. We barely got out of the street into the hotel,
Oh.
and it was like the parking lot was filling up with cars trying to get out of the street because the street was filling up.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting all the way up into the doors, the double doors of the hotel, and the doors opened, and the water was halfway up the tire by then. It was just this weird. It just kept filling up.
Weird. It must have all just been kind of like running down.
Because it was
raining, rain. For us, it just didn't stop, but we didn't
Right.
see none of that. Oh, that was nuts.
So I eventually pulled my car in the lobby of the hotel, and all the cars filled in behind me. So my car's sitting in the lobby, halfway up the door. No, almost to the door of water.
Oh my God.
I pulled my ECU. I took the battery off.
Oh my gosh.
And we had a ground floor hotel room, so we just basically the water was almost up to the top of the bed.
Oh no, that is bad.
It was bad.
That's wild. I mean, I know that people were using the remotes to try to find their cars, and when they found it, like Steph had his laptop floating, and Sean Carlson, somebody had their laptops were floating. Oh my God.
Yeah, rest in peace, Sean.
Yeah. Yep. I'm running the Lamb suspension because Sean built my Lamb suspension.
Really? You're sticking with it?
Hell yeah.
That's cool.
No, because remember, this car's an OG car.
Yeah.
So I need.
So yeah, so you're running you still run the Lamb suspension that Sean Carlson. Wow, that's crazy.
There was only 3 cars that had it. It was Sean, Stefan's, and mine.
Yeah.
And him, he had such a close relationship with Roger and Derek Lamb.
Right.
Our shit was valved for a front wheel drive. Because remember, that's pro stock rear wheel drive,
Right.
pro mod, stuff like that.
Right.
But he had a valve. It was valved. I remember it was Christmas Eve going down to Sean's shop here in Ontario.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. And we didn't have phones, no cell phone, like taking pictures and shit.
Right.
When I rolled that car out, everybody knew that this car was, I always would win. My winnings would go right back to the car, right back to everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
Food, travel, all that. But when I rolled that car out in Gainesville, every one of the guys, if you could ever like, it's almost like when you put a whole carbon fiber in front of a car in front of men. Oh, they were dying when they saw my car. They're like, that is bad. It was beautiful.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I mean, back then.
I think I was in Gainesville with Jared Silvers.
It was Gainesville.
Yeah.
First,
Yeah.
I think it was first race of NHRA.
Yeah.
Rolled out, and there it was on the Lamb suspension. I paid a pretty penny back then for it,
Right.
$8,000.
Wow.
So,
You had to pay to play.
yeah, you know what?
Well, it wasn't even about paying to play. It was like you had to pay to innovate.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was like the first of, and you're buying prototypes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how would you know if a revalved rear wheel drive is going to fit for a front wheel drive?
Right. Or even
Like
worse.
just have that. Derek was on board with doing something so innovative for Sean that
Right.
they did this for my car. They did it for Stefan's car, and they did it for Sean's car.
Right.
I mean, Lamb went on the Saturn as well. Like everything I ever ran with the Civic, my sponsors or even people that I worked with,
Yeah.
it carried over to the Saturn.
Wow.
Carried over to the Saturn.
That's wild.
Yeah, because
That's cool.
I will always stick with.
Well, you're about family. You're about the family.
Yeah.
It's the Sicilian in you.
Yeah. It's I have to like always like.
Family.
Yeah, it's the familia.
I mean, it's like every Fast and Furious meme is always just like family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. See, but I'm like, that's me.
It's a real thing.
It's
Yeah.
like keeping everybody in business, and like
Yeah.
I don't ask for like coming out now. I don't ask nobody for nothing free. I
Right.
don't ask nobody for nothing because the way I see it is, I'm not going to go to a shop and ask for anything for free because
It's weird.
I care about them because
Yeah.
they're a small business.
Yep.
Okay, and a lot of these guys have race cars themselves. So why am I going to take food out of or money out of their mouth for their race car? I think
Right.
about it as their race cars are a child, whether they're children or not. Their race cars are a child.
Right.
I'm taking money away from your child.
Right.
You want to play too, so it's only fair. So
Yeah.
for me, I try to tell that to the guys now. I says, why would you hit up a shop for money? Is it
Right.
your shop? Why would you hit up a shop for money?
Right.
You want to hit up the corporations, the company, stuff like that. They got the money.
Yeah.
They have marketing. They have whether they choose or not, but you don't hit up the shops.
Yeah.
So
I always had the what always played on my heart and my head was always like, what can I like? How can I? What's my return? Even young, I was like, what am I doing that's going to return?
yeah, help them.
Yeah.
make
And if I
money.
didn't have anything, that's when I wouldn't ask people for just random stuff just to go do dumb stuff with. I would always just, if I had like a show, if I had a thing like a movie or whatever, like Fast and Furious or whatever it was, like the Motor Trend show I had, I would always be like, oh, I have this thing.
do you want to be a part of it?
Yeah, something
Right.
where it's more eyes for pennies for eyes.
Yeah.
So you're getting out there, and that's I mean that's a lot to
Because
have.
it's hard on my soul when, like, if I can't return what these people are putting in, it just feels bad.
I can't. Yeah, I don't feel good taking somebody's
Yeah.
like I don't feel good taking somebody's money. I mean, in the winner's circle, I don't feel bad, but
Right. Right.
but like
That's a
like
different taking money.
businesses, yeah, businesses and
That's taking
corporations and
candy from
stuff.
babies
Yeah,
right there. Yeah.
yeah,
In the winner's circle.
yeah. That's a different story, But
Right.
like taking just anything like from people, no, I can't just take your money and I if I endorse something, it's because I believe in that.
Right. Yeah.
So I believe in every product that I ran on both the cars.
Right.
So because
Yeah.
I believe it, I'm running it, and it just makes it better. Like when you hone things in, you could just make it better to be able to show people, like, okay, look, I went to two cars, or like this is
Right.
all I run. Like everybody's like extrude hone, Lisa. I get the DMs. Is extrude hone going to be involved? Yes, extrude hone's involved. I've already talked to them, like
Yeah.
because it's so retro.
You've been
But
extrude hone
I've
forever.
you
The car was extrude hone ad too.
yeah,
The car was on the extrude hone
yep,
in Turbo magazine, the little like
yep.
extrude hone ad. Yeah.
Me and Abel. It was always
Yeah.
me and Abel, but I've already talked to them. I was like, it it would not be right if I didn't have extrude hone because if it wasn't for extrude hone Ed
Right.
believing in this dream,
Yeah.
that car never would have been what it was.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
it was always there until we got other sponsors, and then we backed him down. Like
Yeah.
we always kept the big sticker,
Yeah. Yeah.
but we
Yeah.
it wasn't like he was paid to get the car painted. He was always
That's cool.
always how much do you need to go travel? Like he knew how much everything meant to us. So
Yeah.
for me, extrude again, another thing from my past that I will firmly always run. I will always believe in because
Yeah.
they were there for me. And I'm not they may not have care about automotive as much, but I sure as hell give a shit about them.
Yeah.
They fed me. They fed the car. Like they did all that. So I
That's what I
will
feel.
forever salute for them.
So that's what I told Kurt. I have the KG sticker on my CRX, and I said I'll always keep that sticker on that car.
Yeah.
If I ruin, I redo it and whatever, new paint and whatever, it's still gonna have that KG sticker on it. It's family.
It is
Yeah.
it's about your roots, sticking true to your roots. Like if I'm very I like to I mean that was probably like a bad thing like the industry. Like some of us had really deep roots in the industry.
Right.
And we believed in wanting to nurture it and grow it.
Right. Right.
So that was and I'm still like that. I still want to see the industry grow.
Well, the industry crashed.
Oh yeah, it did. I
Okay,
mean,
and
hard nosedive.
it hard nosed that, but what sport compact drag racing crashed,
Yeah,
died, and then the Honda scene died.
died. Yeah.
So what would you contribute to the sport compact drag racing and the Honda scene and everything dying? What would you contribute to that? Because it was long before it was before the '08 crash where the industry died.
Oh yeah.
So
I,
what would you contribute to that?
there wasn't enough nurturing. There was too many people stabbing each other in the backs.
Yeah,
Too many of us, and I will put myself as us, got so comfortable being puppets and being brought around because it's like, would you want to race or you want to go back, not racing? And, I think a lot of us, I watched it happen to a lot of people. I mean, there were so many snakes. And like we were discussing before, like when the industry crashed, I was at NHRA. Leslie Durst told me,
right.
and I laughed. I'm not even gonna lie, I laughed. And then I think years now since it's passed, I'm able to think about it. I'm able to look back at the industry as to where it was at the real height of its game.
Right.
The height where, man, we were running NHRA events.
Right.
Okay, so if anybody thinks they've done anything in sport compact,
Right.
not until you run in front of 50,000 people like we did.
Yep.
Okay, and you're a front wheel drive car.
Yep.
They told the Hondas not to show up because they only wanted the domestic cars. Me, Nelson, and Sean.
Right.
Told the Hondas don't show up. They told Jared Silvers don't show up. They told Gerald Rhodes don't show up. Don't bring the Hondas.
Yeah.
So we had to go out there, and the pressure was on. You better run sevens. All of us. We were all getting that pressure. So there's nothing but that's what it turned into. We're bunch we're puppets, just puppets on
Right.
strings. As the higher the class, the more strings you were on, just being like a little puppet, like thrown around. Like okay, you have to be this way, you have to act this way, you have to do this, and I think you. My fight was I never wanted to lose myself.
Right.
I would never stop being who I was. Never,
Right.
ever. You couldn't. There's not enough money in the world to
Right.
pay me to ever act a certain way to fit in. You
Right.
can't. Because I care about the guys that started from the bottom, that were my
Yeah.
friends. Just because they don't have the money to race in the class means I should hang out with them. The fuck is wrong with you?
How did that feel racing out there with the rest of the guys not showing up?
Well, without the guys showing up, like back then,
No, at the NHRA race.
I I just had to go out there and put on my game face and go.
Oh man.
You can't, like you're being told what to do. You are under contract. You're under a contract. You are a spark plug. You are easily replaceable.
Wow.
So you just go and do what you have to do. And we did what we had to do. Sean put on a great show. I put on a great show. Nelson put on a great show. I won the Extreme Rush,
Right.
running sevens. And it was great because it was the first time that you saw domestic class people. This is where I think barriers were broken. I mean, it was happening, but
Yeah.
to have our cars and to see them run consistent sevens, we took that whole thing that they had in their mind that these cars, all they do is brake and boom and sound like train wrecks. We were called train wrecks on the line at NHRA. Do you know, listening to your own car sound like a train wreck? Like, why? Why would you say that about us? But for us to go out there and do that and put on a great show, and
Right.
for us to sit there, a lot of people were inside of our pits.
Right.
A lot asking questions. We let people ask questions. And once they got to like the older, like you're talking boomers, talking to Gen X at the time, and them talking to it and learning, they're realizing we weren't just stupid little kids with, you know, Honda import rice cookers. You know what I mean? We
Right.
weren't those people. We were very well, everything looked so
Yeah.
good. They couldn't believe it. So I think right there is where a barrier had been broken down with the way they saw us. It's not these piece of shit little cars. These cars are running sevens back
Right.
then. So to do that, we did it in Dallas, and Dallas was, I still have the picture, entire packed, the entire site, like people were in the stands,
Yeah.
and that's a lot of pressure. We didn't race in front of an entire packed house like that ever.
No.
So to know, like, you really better have your game face. I have the picture of the Saturn. It was sitting there at the line, or sitting like right under the bridge, and you can see all the people lined up all the way down. You just better put your freaking game face on.
At E-Town?
No, this
Oh,
one we ran in Dallas.
Dallas. Yeah.
Dallas. So that's where Extreme Rush was held,
Yeah.
Dallas. I didn't get to the first one because the car was being built,
Right.
and that was Route 66. And then there was the next year they did Dallas, and
Dallas.
I was in Dallas.
Wow.
So yeah, it
I
was
mean, that's a major milestone for like sport
more
compact.
compact. Yeah. So it felt good. Like
Yeah.
you
We've come so
gosh,
far. Yeah.
now they go, oh, I'll remember that car. That's pretty cool,
Yeah.
Yeah, all the time we got the same thing. Oh, is this like one of them Fast and Furious cars? Ah, Jesus Christ, we're not the best. That's a
'Cause this is like,
movie.
this is 04, 05 right then, right?
This would have been like 03.
03.
03.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, this would have been like 03.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, those were good times. It was great, but I think, like I told you, as I further think down the line, like now, when I think about it, I'm like, the industry needed to crash. It had to crash
Yeah.
because there was so much fuckery going on with so many just horrible people running around. And I'm sure you saw it. Like
Yeah.
people were just not themselves. There were shells. They were just, oh, I got to do this because
Yeah.
my sponsor. You just,
Well, that and I saw this in what was the thing? It was like, was it Racers Against Street Racing?
oh yeah, RASR.
Were you part of that? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
was the spokesman for it.
They asked me to be part of Rasser.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do that. I did, I could, that was the point where I drew the line. I was like, I can't, because it raised me,
Yeah.
and it was really high. I know Steph was on there and there was a bunch of
Yeah.
people on there. And I was like, ah,
The
I
hypocrisy,
just
right?
can't. And I think that kept me from growing in the industry like I probably could have, just because it was like the whole corporate side of things was
Corporate
just,
I I think the big mistake was corporate. I really do.
yeah,
I think the big mistake was corporate was allowing corporate.
yeah, because it was such a passion driven,
It was a very grassroots. We all were family, and when I explain this, like when I'm down and I explain this to the new racers, they always say we want to. Oh my God, how do we be like how you guys were with the money? Oh, I says you guys talk about that shit, and I'm not even gonna run because I could never. I could never. They shit. Like shit or go blind. I'll never. I could never have somebody running me around
yeah,
corporately like, because if it's funded, right, it's corporate.
Right.
I wasn't corporate, but being like that, I could never do that again. I could
Right.
never do that to myself because I will never lose myself. I will snap.
Yeah. But I think that too, the very nature of like corporate involvement in the sport, I think it brought the budget for these builds and for the season budget for the cars that were corporate sponsored was just unattainable,
Unattainable.
right?
Front was unattainable.
Unattainable.
I always say that.
Right.
Cost $330,000 just to build a chassis of the Saturn. But
Right.
we're not talking about General Motors and their $4 million budget. We didn't have a
Right.
$4 million
$4
budget.
million.
And I hate there's racers out there that were in the class that they like to cry and whine and they like to say about, oh, those corporate sponsored cars or those big budget cars. I don't know what you're talking about. I just had a team that knew what the fuck they were doing.
Right.
I always get so angry. Like, some people do piss me off. I love the racers, but sometimes it's just like, can you just put your fucking foot in your mouth already? You just sound
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Well, I mean, and then when you have the bar being raised so high,
Yeah.
you lose connection with your fan. I'm not talking about fan base, but I'm talking about the fan end user who's also a grassroots guy.
Yeah.
You lose that connection because no grassroots guy can look at this and be like, oh, I can attain that.
But to be fair, Pro Front, Pro Rear is what we compared to Top Fuel and Top Fuel Funny Car. Most people are never going to be able to ever, in their wildest dreams, be able to
Right.
buy one, drive one, anything like that.
Right.
Where it took a turn for the worse, and where I really, like, me as a racer, as somebody in the industry, was when the hot rod class was always something. It was always the grassroots racer. Always, everybody was grassroots. It's just that was the class. That's where
Right.
everybody started. That's where everybody stayed. The badass class.
That was the
According
badass
to me, was the
class, yeah.
badass class.
Right.
When General Motors ran sevens in that car in that class, I think it was St. Louis. I remember Marty coming over to me. You remember Marty? Hey Lisa, hey Lisa. I said, what happened? He goes, you see what I run? I said, no, what'd you run? And he says, I ran sevens. I think he was expecting me to say congratulations.
Right.
Instead, I gave him a piece of what my mind was. I says, thank you for just fucking up our sport.
Yeah.
I said, the hot rod class is for every person in the stand that
Yeah.
has that dream, that has that car inside their garage. Now you just killed an entire everything.
Right.
To me, my strong fight, even though I wasn't in that class, I still love that class. I still love the hot rod class, and I still love everything that ever came out of it because that's where I started.
Right.
And we were unibody cars. We were fucking diffusers and this. What is in the hell? Like, you let it get a little too out of
They
control,
went
and you
pretty
let
nuts,
corporate in, and corporate done walked all over because they're gonna flow you the money.
Right.
No, that's not how it should be. Flow us, but because we would be the top fuel in the funny car class. Unattainable.
Right.
Nobody's gonna build it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and if you build it, you're not gonna keep up because the budgets are different.
Right.
Okay? So that guy can go into the hot rod class and that guy can have fun and play fun and race with his favorite racers and have a 9-second car.
Right.
You fucked it up running sevens. Now you can't decipher Lisa's, Sean's, Nelson's, and Marty's car.
Yeah.
You can't decipher them now because they're like, you just confuse everybody. Like, they fucked it up. General Motors fucked it up.
Yeah.
I get very angry again because I'm a big advocate for the grassroots racer. I'm a big advocate for our old class.
Right. And I see this potentially happening in like Formula Drift.
Oh, that's like, when I was at Drift for a while, when I was working at AEM K&N, and I just saw it, I'm like, God,
Does it remind you?
it does. Looking at some cars that are just so highly sponsored, and then you got the guys that are, not highly
Yeah.
sponsored. They're never going to podium, and and you just feel bad. You're like, man, this guy's driving his ass off. Like,
Yeah.
he is driving his ass off, and he's
Right.
not going to podium, and that's
Right.
what sucks.
Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy seeing that also with Jim Law,
Yeah, I
like
know.
at the helm, and then Ryan Sage, like
Yeah,
on
they're all
Olympic
over there.
nights, and like IDRC.
Yeah,
Isn't that wild? It's
it
like,
is.
yeah, but it's the same
Uh-huh.
sort of thing, and now there's more corporate sponsorships and more
Yeah.
like
See, and
it's weird, huh?
it's hard. Like, who's going to decipher who gets the better sponsor? It's going to be the guy with the more money that can pay for the marketing, that can pay for the TV time, that can pay for all of that. That's how it goes, though.
That's how it goes.
They have their favorites when it comes to TV. Everybody knows that. You have your
Right.
favorites. You want to keep putting the one on that people are going to want to watch. coming back for. It's like why they keep making a series out of a show.
Yeah.
Because people want to come back and
Wanna
see
come
the
back.
suspense. Like, what happened?
So Jeff Jones,
I love JJ.
right?
Gangster Jones.
He's doing a series called Hot Pit Auto Fest, and it's more of the grassroots style. He's combining you know how, what was it? It's like grid life, trying to get that grid life vibe into just drifting and car show kind of thing. But it's really cool, and it's really like more geared to the grassroots, and he kind of removed all the stuff that didn't really need to be there.
Yeah.
Like all of just trying to go back to the roots, and it's really cool. People are starting to travel from other states and come to it.
Really?
It's just
I didn't know JJ Gangster was doing that.
So he told me a story, and this was, I don't even know, because I crewed for Jeff for 3 years.
Oh my gosh.
And so I traveled the country doing all that.
Always hang out with Gangster.
Gangster, right?
Yeah, I call him Gangster. Dude's a gangster.
Yeah. He's one of my favorite people.
Yeah.
Just because he's
like the people's champion. Like,
but more than that though, he is real, true and true.
Oh,
so
yeah.
the way he treats his friends, the way he treats his fans, the way he treats his sponsors, the way he treats his crew, it's the same.
Yeah.
Like he is 100% authentic in everything he does.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And huge love for the guy.
Oh, we used to have so many fun times.
Yeah.
Going out.
Yeah.
I go to all the FD events. It was always us with Gangster.
He told me a story about someone in the trunk.
Oh my God. Yeah. This good guy. I don't know. He slipped in the trunk. We thought we lost him. And they opened the trunk, and I have a picture of him in the trunk.
Like a frightened raccoon.
Yeah. But they knew what they were doing. I think those dudes pissed their pants because they had it all planned. And me and my coworker Jessica, we were like, "What happened?" Like I can't even remember what happened, but we thought we lost him. Like we totally thought we lost him, and he was in the trunk the whole time because he was under 21, so he couldn't get in the bars.
Oh right.
Oh, we'd have him hop over. Oh, shit. Well, too bad. It's too late. He's 21 now. But we'd have him hop over fences into the bars. Like, if nobody was looking, get over. So we'd get him over.
Right.
Get him a beer. Oh, yeah. Those guys, when I was working in drifting, made me feel like I was back in Sport Compact because it was so pure then.
Right.
Right? So it was just like, they were a bunch of freaking misfits too. And we were always just goofing off. Always.
Yeah.
When I went in Formula Drift, it was always with Gangster. It was always goofing off.
Yeah.
Wait, I got pictures of us inside this photo booth, and you should see our dumb asses. Just doing this. Somebody, I think JJ's got his finger in my nose, and oh my gosh, it was just, it was fun. It was like, this is family, right? I fit right in because it was just like Sport Compact.
Yeah.
The way they treated, like how they were, and they were young. They're so much young, like maybe 10 years younger.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was almost like, oh, there's your crowd now, you know?
Yeah.
So I spent a couple years in the drifting world. So I got to learn about it.
The beginning of the story that he told was that they were gonna, K&N was gonna send their girl out to, I think this is maybe this is the first time you met him maybe, and you went to hang out with him. They're like, oh yeah, she's gonna come hang out with you guys afterwards or whatever. And he was so worried because it was like, oh yeah, K&N's a sponsor and they're corporate and this and that. And then she showed up, she's like, what's up?
That would be me.
Yeah.
I treated all the drifters, I treated them all as though, remember, I'm a racer. So every time I go into something, I treat it as though how I was treated as a racer and how I wanted to be.
Right.
So I would make sure that there was enough sleeves, enough filter. I'd get an order from the guys. What do you need? So when they showed up, all the cars that had all the K&N stuff or the AEM stuff, I had it ready for them. They'd never seen that before. Like, but I was like, but remember, I came out of a professional world of motorsports. So I'm going to treat you guys with the same level of respect that my sponsors treated me. This is how they were to me. This is how I'm going to be to you.
Right.
So I always made sure the guys always had, Lisa, I need this. Lisa, I need clamps. Lisa, whatever they need, I made sure I had shit for them.
Right.
Always. They became my family.
Right.
You know, after Sport Compact, they became my family.
Right.
So yeah, all the time with JJ. Oh, I used to go to his barbecues at his house. That shit would get wild.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So yeah, the friendship, like we developed a real life friendship.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. He's the best.
Yeah. JJ's wild.
We just had we had the event on Sunday. Yeah. Oh. I'm announcing for his main stage.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm trying to turn the party out on the main stage, which is like the kind of car show and all the other stuff, the vendor area.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to turn the party out there.
Oh, shit. Watch out. You know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's fun.
You got this.
Yeah, it's fun.
JJ. You can't do nothing wrong.
Well, the drifting's going on over here, and then there's the car show going on over here. And car show people, they just chill by their cars.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, how do you get these car show people to, you know, the ones who aren't watching drifting are obviously just into standing by their cars.
Yeah, being by their cars.
Yeah, and just talking about how clean their, you know, the side of the car is. And
Yeah.
so it's like, how do you get them to, like, how do you turn those party out? So I'm getting there.
Yeah, dude, remember like Nopi, you gotta have like that foam pit shit thing.
Oh man, I was talking to somebody about foam pit. Foam pit was just nasty.
That thing was horrible.
Oh my gosh.
I was tossing that motherfucker in my whole fire suit. Freaking
Yeah.
Louie from Ara's team.
I lost a bet and had to go in the foam pit.
Oh no, I got thrown inside that one.
The Palmdale one? Did you ever go on the
No,
Palmdale?
I didn't go to. Oh no.
The Palmdale one was another level of dirty.
That sounded like a herpetosyphilitis ready to happen. I would have never went in any, but Louie picked me up and just.
Hey, I met Miss Apple Valley in in the foam pit. LACR.
Oh,
Hey,
Hey, I wouldn't doubt it.
she had slipped and fallen down. I helped her back up. I don't know. We've been friends ever since.
Oh my god. Well, that's a random place to meet a new friend.
Foam pit.
How did you guys meet? Oh, in a foam
Yeah,
pit.
we're foam pit friends.
Yeah, we met in the foam pit. We high-fived each other. Blew some bubbles.
Well, you're here. So we're parked outside of your work, right? So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what you do here. McLeod. Is it McLeod? Or is it McLeod?
McLeod Racing.
Why don't you guys just? Is there someone who calls it McLeod?
Oh, we get all kinds. McLeod. I'm like, where? Or they'll spell it MCC. I'm like, what? McLeod Racing. Come on, you guys. How do you
I was driving here and I was like, McLeod.
Nope. There's
Clan McLeod.
Nope, there's no McLeod here. I like that. No, we don't have leprechauns running around. You know.
Yeah, you know how Mel Gibson coming with a sword? Wasn't that his clan from like Braveheart? Clan McLeod or something like that.
I don't remember that.
He pulls the things out. Freedom!
I don't remember.
That's all I think about when I drive over here. I was like, oh man, freedom.
Freedom. It is freedom.
Clutch freedom, right?
Yeah. Oh no, you know what it's like working with a bunch of racers? It's the greatest thing.
Bro, it has to be.
But it's like, you got the Sport Compact, you got the Mustang, you got the Chevy, you got ones that work on Paul's car, Corvette guy. Fred's done everything. Like everybody in there from tech to sales
has lived it.
They Brian's boats and like everybody. We all have a different form of racing.
And you handle the Sport Compact.
I do all the Sport Compact.
Right.
I mean, every once in a while I get like domestic stuff. I have to ask for help, but I do this. I am the director of Sport Compact sales, so I handle that. I do the events.
Yeah.
I go out there, just try to, go out there and because in the rotary 2J market, they know us. I mean, the Mustang market, we are the clutch. Mustang, Camaro, Chevy, any of those guys. They know McLeod, and they all have McLeod. Whether it's a street car all the way up to a drag car, they have McLeod. But in the Sport Compact world, they don't realize how much history is behind McLeod. Well, the rotary guys have been running it for 20 years. They just don't tell anybody. They run our mag force. We got mag forces and rotary cars all day, every day, running 6.0s.
Wow.
But people don't know that. So like the Honda crowd or like the front wheel drive crowd doesn't know that.
Right.
And they're like, oh, I remember my first event, somebody goes, oh, let's go look at the new company. I'm like, new company? This company's been around over 50 years.
Yeah.
And then as you go, then the rotary guys see that there's somebody out there that's a rep and then they find out that it's me. And then they're like, come on in. So they show me, all their engines. They show me their spare bullets and they got the McLeod on there. And I'm like, you guys run what? 6.0s.
Yeah.
I think there might be even a 580 car, 590 car.
Wow.
No, I take that back. No, 6.0s. But there might be a 590.
I think I had one of their clutches, a twin disc in 2005, maybe. I think Venom ran it or something like that. I think the Venom guys ran it for a little bit.
What, in the truck?
It was a B series one.
No, they didn't have. This is the 7 1/4 that we have is the first true twin that we have for anything that like a smaller car, smaller bell housing style car.
Then maybe it wasn't a twin. Maybe it was a single. You had a
it
single.
Could be a single.
Yeah,
we have singles all day, every day.
With the anodized, those red anodized spacers on it. It was like a red
I don't think that they ever messed around with that. That was, I mean, it sounds like a mag force.
Might have been a prototype or something like that.
I don't think they didn't. 7 years ago, I think 7 or 8 years ago is when they started getting into sport compact.
Yeah.
So I don't think they ever had it.
Okay.
Unless it was altered. People alter stuff all the
Yeah.
time. They're altering stuff. I've seen stuff come in. I'm like, how did you get a mag force inside that K series? Like, they do this.
Yeah.
You give it to anybody in Florida, they'll figure it out.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
will figure it out. And this guy was like, oh, and I notched this and I notched. I'm like, but you got a badass mag force in there. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, how did you do it? Like, so that's what I get to do is I get to go out there and I get to mingle with everybody, talk to everybody. And we have Ricky, who's sponsored by us.
Okay.
So Ricky Silva. So we have them out there repping on the East Coast. And then, like, you know, I get to go out and I get to support the car.
Yeah.
Like, I get to, you know, stand there and be like, yes.
How's the reception for the clutch? I mean, how is the Sport Compact?
The actual,
receiving it?
the PTT series that I showed you earlier, that is so new.
Right.
That is so new that it hasn't even generated the fact. But I'm selling them.
Yeah.
There people calling.
Yeah.
I have no problem. I'm selling one straight to India. Like, they're hearing about it. So
Wow.
that's like a great thing. And it's like, woof.
Yeah.
You know, right now it seems to be the K series are the ones that are buying it. I'm like, okay, well, we already know it's not going into the
Yeah.
sport front class or the XFWD class because majority of those cars are K are not K, they're B series.
B series,
so
yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, it's going into cars,
Yeah.
but whose cars? I don't know.
They're figuring out the K though. So they're figuring out the
yeah,
K.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I
And-
mean, these guys, all of them are sharp. They're
Yeah,
all sharp. So you don't put it past them. That every single car, you know, you got 20 cars that run sevens. So
Yeah.
there's 20 of them out there. There wasn't even 20 of us that ran damn
Right.
Quick 16.
I mean, that's got to be such a, like, you're still front line there. So that's just got to be such a drastic comparison.
I get, you know, my main thing is the technology is different. So for me to try to understand, because I've never driven it and I just try to listen to in-car cameras and stuff like that just to kind of hear, we drove differently.
Right.
We didn't have traction control.
Right.
So when they tell me you shifted a shift light, I'm like, what on that? You fell off the roof and hit your head, didn't you? Go off the track, you go off the light. Who goes off the rear-wheel drive cars go off the light? You know, like,
Yeah.
but I have to watch this and listen because I've never driven one of the newer cars.
Right.
So I have to, like, understand, like, what do you mean? So I'm watching. I'm going, okay, the shift, okay? And it's so different.
Right.
So that's where my hang up is. I'm going to be just fine after I test for a while, but I'm going to be just fine. It's going to be like riding a bike. Like, I already, you know, but it's just, what will my team do? What if I hear the engine? Like, what if it sounds like it's spinning? What if I pull a gear? Like, you know what I mean? Like, go back to that natural, like what it was.
Yeah, but there's traction control, so it's not going to spin. And it's
Yeah,
like,
no, they do. Sometimes it does. If things aren't set
up
right,
yeah.
track, anything. I've seen it. I watched one guy do it in the last race at the World Series of Promon, and I just sat there with the biggest smile on my face. It was Julian. He did it, and I saw Burdette, and I saw his dad, and I said, Tommy, your son just put the biggest smile on my face because he was driving. And in my mind, I was like, back in the old days, like, you know, because the spin. So it was just like, you just get so excited hearing.
You hear it.
I know, because that, to me, hearing that
spun,
wild spin, doing all that in my mind was what I know. So I just felt like I had a flashback. It was like a big old flashback that I had because I was so excited just hearing the old, to me it was old school.
Yeah.
They got, you know, 1,600 horsepower. These guys are no joke with
it's
horsepower.
No joke.
Because, I mean.
And now they put it down.
Yeah, they to have that traction control. I'm trying to fathom all this and try to pull. I'm like, good God, I wouldn't be able to shift a car that fast if it didn't have that traction control, making 1,500 horsepower. Like, you just think about it, but I got to forget all that.
It'll come.
Yeah, it'll come.
Yeah.
And then it'll just take some time. Like, you know, a lot of 60 foot, a lot of.
Because you've done sevens.
Yeah.
It's not like you've done sevens fighting a car.
Oh, fear of driving a race car?
No, that's not what I mean. I just mean you've done sevens fighting a car.
Yes.
So this, I mean, it'll be. I feel like, I mean, I've never done sevens. Fastest I did was a 10.2. So that was fast for me in the time, but
it's still moving.
But like sevens, you've done it. It's just, I feel like with the technology and with the way everything goes and the way the cars are set up, and it's just, there's so much stuff available to make these cars.
Those guys at top end. I see a lot of in-car camera. They have like this yellow, the steering wheel has like this yellow, and you see it. It looks like ours. At the end of the track, their shit's all sideways. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's a little bit kind of like ours. Ours was like that all the way down the track, but okay, it was kind of like this. Just depend on where I wanted to go. Like, hey, where are we going today? We're going this way, we're going that way. Which way?
Hopefully it's still in the groove.
But I would just, like with the Saturn car, you just learn, like, because I had the bars, right? Chassis car, so I'd lock everything.
Yeah.
Because I shifted that freaking car.
Yeah.
Like, I was just telling this story to one of the guys at DP. I was telling Alan, he couldn't believe that I shifted. Not only just shifted that freaking car, I had to slap the throttle before I pulled the gear.
Yeah.
He's like, there's no way. Like, they can't understand. I'm like, you guys just think I was some dumbass.
You had to work for it.
Yes. I'm like,
Now they're just flat throttle the whole way through now.
Because they were asking if I was used to, like, not having to push a clutch. I said, the Civic, you had to push a clutch before you pull every gear.
Yeah.
With the Saturn, you use, just like them, you use the clutch off the line.
Right.
And depending on what kind of transmission, I didn't have an X-Trax like all them rich dudes.
Right.
General Motors and all. I didn't have that. So it was too much.
Didn't have 15 grand to buy an X-Trax.
15, that thing was probably like 40 or 50.
Oh,
I remember
the
they
X-Trax
came
were
in
40?
Yes. Ours was 7,000.
Oh, jeez.
7 grand. So I had to, and I remember, that car I never drove. I never tested that car a day in its fucking life. Every single day. See, I'm the type of person that I'll watch in-car cameras, and I can program it in my head, and I'll know. I'll be able to hear the engine in my head. Even if it's not mine, I can hear it. So the Saturn car, it came out and didn't go down the track. It was at a Nopi event. An NHRA event. It was Dallas, I believe. Car came out, and I never drove it. So I was going to go down there, and the guys will tell you, Mike would tell you, they says, just make like a 60-foot. Feels good, go 330. Whatever. I said, okay. Never drove this motherfucker, but in my head, I've driven this car 1,000 times and sometimes twice on Sunday.
Right.
And I got inside that car and first gear, pulled second gear, pushed third gear. Mikey said, when that car, I went all gears, I qualified number 3. Never drove that fucking car a day in my life. Ever. How did I, it was just like this whole thing. Like I says, I need to know my car.
Yeah.
So Mikey always said, he goes, we were all turning around because we figured, okay, Lisa pulled 3 gears. Good. Car looked good going down. It never went down the track ever. He says, and then all of a sudden you can hear it going to 4th gear and all of us stop dead in our tracks and turn around and it pops up around at 880.
Yeah.
And you want to know where the baseline tune came from? No. Uploaded from the Civic, downloaded into the Saturn. When the Civic wrecked, or that weekend, 880. Saturn, my tune-up, 880.
Wow.
So I had the heart of my Civic with me.
Wow, yeah, that's wild.
But yeah, I love that. I did some crazy, like the most who does that? Like nobody
just took the base numbers.
It's not like it was a fucking shifted car like this.
No, I know. But you took the numbers. You took just the map numbers.
Uploaded it out of the Fast. Uploaded it out of the Civic from the Fast because remember I wrecked and then it was a year before the car or 2 years or whatever, a year before it was built, and then downloaded that. That was the base map. It was the same thing. It was a 2 liter. 2 liter.
2 liter. 2 liter.
2 liter. It didn't know any better.
That's wild.
Boom. And then I was like, felt so damn good. I hadn't raced in a year. I was ready to fucking rock and roll. I was like, we're putting this bitch out we're shooting out the gates.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fucking badass story. And then I just told the story recently at the race to a couple of my friends. I says, do you know when the Saturn round 7s? I says, I never get intuitions of anything. Never. Right. I don't, I can sense certain things, but I can't sense a lot. So we all used to pull in on Thursdays, park, whatnot.
Right.
Well, we knew Sumeroso, all of them, so we'd be there. So the guy was doing the track, and he's like, hey, come here. There's going to be records. Because we were stuck at 806, 801. I was 80 Kubo. Everybody called me 80 Kubo. All I ran was 80. So he was like, there's going to be some records. And we're like, oh, awesome. So me and the team, I never walked the track. I know where the fuck the starting line is, and I know where the fuck I have to hit the chutes, and I'm done. So the guys line me up. I don't line myself up. They know that's what they are good at.
Yeah.
So I go on the track with them. I'm just walking, whatnot. And I stand I get in the left lane. First lane is the left lane that you get in. He's like, showing us around. We're just checking, like, hey, this is cool.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, yeah, check the other lane because it's the same. So we all go in that lane. Bro, if I tell you, I had this weird fucking magnetic feeling come over me. And back this up. I was driving, exiting on Rosemead or Paramount. And I was driving and I had this weird, just like vision. I saw people jumping, people doing all kinds of going excited, but I didn't see myself.
Yeah.
But I just saw people. So I told Epler, I said, Epler, it's so weird. I had this epiphany or whatever you would call it. I said, I'm just driving and all this happens. He goes, you're going to be the first of the sevens. Watch. I was like, no. I never say I'm going to do anything because I figure that's bad luck. No. So now fast forward, we're at the track. I feel this feeling on the track. I went back, we walk back over and we go into the, cross back over into the left lane. And I'm like, it was gone. That's fucking weird. So next day, here comes qualifying. And I was like, there was something about that lane.
Yeah.
That lane was telling me there was something about that lane and that vision that I had.
Yeah.
They need to come together.
Yeah.
So if you look at the TV or anything like that of the video footage, Charlie was originally in the left lane. I went straight to the right lane, ran the 790. I've never had feelings like that. I've never had those feelings. So to never have those feelings and have it so strong, I was like, I need to listen to whatever is telling me. I did it, ran 790. 2 hours later, General Motors ran 790.
Wow, you did it first.
Yes, did it first, and then it came to who backed it up. That didn't happen till the final. Me and Nelson and I backed it up.
Yeah.
So I officially took that was the best race ever. I took track record, national record, top points, top mile an hour. I took everything. I mean, every fucking accolade you can get. Yeah. Number one qualifier. I took it all.
Right.
Oh yeah, that was the best race.
That's wild. Yeah.
So it was really awesome.
That stuff's real.
Yeah. I
get those a lot more now.
See, I don't get those, but I haven't.
I got those with this show. I got the feeling that I had to do this.
Yeah, it tells you.
And it just, the things that line up on this show are just all the equipment and all this. Just I had to do it.
You just know when something's so right. I can't
get it out of my head.
Do you know that's how I felt when I came back racing again? When I decided to come back racing, it was so right. Yeah. There was this feeling. It's so right. I feel so comfortable. I'm so comfortable with the people that I'm around. I'm so comfortable in the industry, even though I've got these guys by years. Yeah. I feel so comfortable with them. They don't even understand how comfortable I feel with them.
It's crazy. I feel it around me. I feel the people who I'm talking, or I'm like, hey, let's sit down, and they're like, I just got a car going again. Yeah. I haven't had a car in 20 years, and I just like I don't know if you know Indo Jeff. He just did they just did an 11.0 pass on an all motor, 20% nitro CRX. Like wow, but he hadn't driven anything or hadn't had a car in like a long time, and then I got the vibe to I saw the twins, they were just starting to put cars together again, and everyone just kind of.
It's vibing.
Miles is like, I want to get in something. I got something.
Yeah,
I want to get
it's just vibing again. It's as long as it doesn't ever turn into what it was with a bunch of fucking snakes. I will do my best, and I sure the fuck I may not be a teammate to any of these guys out here. I have my team, but I may not be a teammate to all of them. But I sure as fuck will guard their backs. I will guard them like I guarded my own team.
Yeah.
Any of these sport front, any of these guys if I see something getting a little shifty, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna say something because I never want them to go through what we did. Yeah. I feel like I need to protect them.
Yeah.
You may want that, but you better look deep into it.
Yeah.
Because you better ask yourself, do I really want to sell it? Do I really want to give up who I am?
Right.
Because ultimately, if you want that corporate sponsorship, you want that fucking $200,000, your life is gonna change. You may think it gets better. When you may think wishing for something like that to make it so much better, well, in actuality, when you have to live that real life, it's not as great as people thought it was.
Well, but that's the thing is people seem so desperate when you get to that point, but you don't have to sell out your soul. They want what you have.
Yeah. You run the show.
You run the show. They want what you have, and if they don't want what you have, yeah. No. We did a Red Bull show, and we shot a cool pilot. It was like a street racing, cool, Dye was in it, a bunch. We had a cool pilot shot, and they wanted producer rights on everything we did for the next 10 years. Wow. And all this. It was a crazy, and we just we tried to make an industry standard, and it was just it just didn't feel right.
No, nope.
And the whole cast, we all banded together. We're like, this is what we need.
Money isn't everything.
Yeah.
It's like money isn't everything.
Yeah.
It'll make your race car go, but at what cost? You know,
Totally, right.
Big dollars.
Big
when you got like $10,000, it's you still run the show in your race car. If somebody's going to try and tell you what to do and they're only giving you $10,000, I want title on this and title. Yeah, no, because the bulk of the money, there's no car out there that I would say cost any less than $60,000 to build.
Right.
So you are going to come in here with $10,000 and you're going to dangle this $10,000 carrot after I put $60,000 to $120,000. That's only building the fucking car.
Right.
That's not everything afterwards.
What's a season cost?
Season?
Well, on the Saturn, what did the season cost?
Oh,
roughly?
season was cheap because we didn't fucking blow anything up. I didn't break shit.
Yeah.
Bro, I had the same engine for 2 years.
Wow.
We had 2 engines. One was high compression, one was low compression. We would change them out because we were at different tracks. We did it for fun.
Wow.
Like that car was just you couldn't blow that thing up.
What about the Civic before that?
Civic would run probably about 70,000.
Yeah.
Because we got title sponsor 65. But see, remember that was paying for fuel, food, hotel, entry fee. I had all the parts, so it's probably and all my winnings went right back into the car.
Into it, yeah.
So it could be $100,000. I don't know. All my money went to the Civic.
Yeah.
It was like I walked around in bootleg bobo ass fucking pants. I didn't give no fucks. I was like, Civic needs it. Mommy needs to give it. Civic needs it.
That's what Jeff told me. I think I was working for Matt Van Kirk on his Formula Drift team, and I talked to Jeff Jones about budget, and we're trying to figure it out. He's like, whatever you get, you're gonna spend.
Yeah. It's already spent.
You're gonna spend it. He's like, if it's $100,000, you're gonna spend it. If it's $40,000, you're gonna spend it.
Because there's gonna be something that you want to upgrade on the car. Yeah. Whether you have to get another spare bullet or 2 more bullets or extra tranny. I mean, these things don't stay together. These cars, they don't stay together. Yeah. The faster they go, like we were when I was down at the race and we were joking. I said they were telling me the threshold to a car braking is in the 840s. I said, well, perfect. I says, I'm going to be a consistent 850 car. I'm not going to I'll be happy that I get to get in the car and drive it and have fun. I said, I'll be a consistent 850 car. I ain't going to qualify. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sit in my pits like this and wait for people that need parts to buy. I'm an 850 car. I don't care.
What's braking at 840s?
Oh, then you start losing. I mean, the engines are going.
Yeah.
They're a lot of the guys, they'll come to me. There's some guys that I appreciate. What I really like is the guys will come to me, Lisa, you've got a voice in this industry. We need you to stand for us. And I'm like, there was a team that told me that. And I'm like, you tell me what you need me to do. You tell me. Like, they're not my team.
Yeah.
But to me, they're my family. Yeah. Like, this is my next generation of guys, right? So I started this in the beginning, and we went through all the hells. But if they feel as though I could be a voice for them and try to get, because they're like, you would know these, you know how to talk to the corporate people, and you know the people in the corporates. Okay, you tell me what to do. Yeah. There was one, they told me there was an issue going on, and I won't say, there's parts of an issue going on. Yeah. They're like, this is what's going on. It happens this time, and then after this time, it's completely just wiped out. And it's a very expensive part. Well, because I know somebody in that company, I've already shot them an email. Yeah. I already let them know. Because if they're like, I go, well, didn't you tell them? No, we don't talk with, like, we don't know, like, basically how. I'm like, all right, fine. I have any time. Like, it's not a bother to me. It's not anybody that ever needs me to do something, because if I know somebody and it's to help the industry and it's safety for the guys and girls out there, I'm 100% for it. It's not a threat to me. I'm no threat to nobody, and nobody's a threat to me. I'm not coming here trying to steal your sponsors, and you sure as fuck ain't gonna steal mine.
But isn't that crazy that there's that much of a disconnect now? Like, it used to be, my sponsors, I walked I walked in the back door and we walked up and...
But these aren't sponsors. These are parts bought. These guys buy the parts.
I get that, but not what I'm talking about. But even though...
Oh, yeah.
Still, like, manufacturers, you would call them and try and,
Yeah, give them the feedback. So they need to understand that, and
is that the generation? Is that... What is it?
I don't know.
When did that disconnect happen?
I don't know. I don't know 100%, and because, like I said, I'm still so new. It's only been a year that I've been in the industry to actually look. So my disconnect
in the clutch side of the industry, right? Or no?
No. In general, in the industry, in the sport compact, back in the sport compact,
in the sport
compact world. I think the disconnect is a lot of these guys. They'll tell me how much, like, like sponsorship, and they'll tell me if they get this. They tell me their private stuff, and I you know, so I put all that together, and I'm like thinking, and I'm like, in my mind, the way I see the disconnect is the guys got okay with saying, yeah, I'll take 50% off. Yeah, I'll take this for 70% off. When the low line answer is no.
Right.
It should be no.
Right.
If you're going to give product that you need that's like worth $7,000-$10,000, that's a different story.
Right.
But when you have people just, okay, you got $100,000 in your car. Since when is it okay? You worked your ass for this.
Right.
So it's not okay for somebody to just walk in and say, because you want a sponsorship, I'll give you, XYZ parts for free. No, that's not okay. Unless they're going to give you like 12 sets of whatever you need.
Right.
For
the season set of stuff that's a consumable, right.
Let's use like spark plugs, for example.
Right.
If NGK comes in and says, we're going to give you 50% off and you have to run a sticker like this, and you're like, okay, don't do that to yourself.
Right.
I sure the fuck won't.
So you think it's the people who are biting those carrots?
Yeah, they don't understand. They just want to go racing.
Right.
They're like us as kids. We just wanted to go racing, whatever it took to go racing.
Yeah.
They're forgetting that they work hard in shops. They own shops. They promote their shops, and they have a lot of them are smart because they do work deals with the sponsors where it's like they get discount, even lower discount, and they sell it product.
Because I think I understand that part of it, because a lot of people ask me like, oh, how do I get sponsored and this? They like, well, what are you doing? And first of all, they don't think that ROI. They don't think return on investment. But then also they don't realize how long it takes to build a rapport with a company. Right? So if a company's offering you 50% off their product, you know what I mean? I tell them, I said if that's all you're getting, right? If you're a starting out team.
Starting out's a different story.
Right. So if you're a starting out team and you even if you're paying for it, you represent that team, the company, the very best you can, and you build a family. You build your family, even if you got to pay for it. You build your family. And I think a lot of people don't think of it that way anymore.
I think that the industry just got used to that.
Yeah.
Always 50%. When you know that they could do this.
Right.
This, no, I'm not talking again. This goes back to the shops. Don't hit up the shops.
Right.
Because those guys have race cars too.
Right.
So you're not going to get much. You might, like when we got sponsored on the Civic for a shop, paid for fuel, plugs, entrance fee.
Right.
That's all the shop was, that you would hit up a shop.
Right.
Okay, but these guys are wanting full, like, parts, and free. But
they want them to build their car and transport it.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. I mean, it won't happen. And I just think that maybe the industry is saturated when it comes to what's being hit up for sponsorship. Like I was talking to one of my teammates, and I'm just like, look outside the industry, and he's like, I am.
Yeah.
He's now getting, he was saying, I have these ideas.
Yeah, non-endemic companies are probably the best
stuff that just you're not going to go hit up the the XYZ turbo company or the XYZ fucking fuel rail company, whatever, I don't know.
Yeah.
But you're not going to go hit those guys up. Like they've been around for so long, man. They're like run through the ringer. They're like, man, what are you?
I think it sharpens your game up too if you're hitting up non-endemic companies,
because
people are more lax around like, oh, I got this race car, and they're like. Mm-hmm. But then you're talking to a company that doesn't have no idea what you do or what the series is.
Well, it's just how well you sell yourself. Right. You have to sell yourself. I explained like what I had to do with the Saturn car. It wasn't just get inside in the car and drive it, Lisa.
Yeah.
Nope. It was race on Sunday, sell on Monday. I would be back at the shop. I would be back in San Diego, and I'd be down at the shop. And I had to call my sponsors. I had to help set up for all of the hospitality, inviting people. So when I had Matco on the side of my car, that wasn't just free money for Lisa, the race car.
Never is.
We used to go to all the Votech schools.
Right.
Bring the race car out, set the race car up. While we were in the Votech, while we were out there speaking to all the students, the heads of Matco were inside talking to the heads of the school. Right. Same thing with Valvoline.
Yeah.
So if you want to I want to be like how you guys were. Can you go 7 days a week? You have a normal day job. I was a full professional racer.
Yeah.
I had no normal day job. I didn't have to be home on Monday and take a flight. I had to work 7 fucking days a week for that car.
Yeah.
So that's even when I was in Indy, I had to stay out in Indy. I still was doing shit out in Indy.
Yeah.
I had to be with the race car.
People don't realize.
They don't realize
you work harder
for that money.
For that money than you do if you had like a professional.
Yeah. I'll take a $10,000 sponsor. Thank you. You know what I mean? Like, it's way easier to work with a $10,000 sponsor because then you can fly home on, Monday, fly in on Thursday. No, not when you have,
Yeah.
$150,000, $200,000 sponsor. You got a fucking $1 million fucking back team.
Yeah.
Your life is every single day.
Yeah.
Matco, call Matco. You had to voice record how you did because all the dealers. Let me tell you, Matco was no fucking joke. You always see me in black pants. You know why I'm always in black pants? I got the ass chewed out of me because I went on stage because all of us they have a big thing for all of their dealers.
Right.
So I was like, I'm a kid, so I went on stage. I'm in jeans and my uniform. Do you know that the head of marketing, he called Epler, and he says, Epler, I'm gonna rip her an ass. And Epler's like, what happened? And he said, I wore jeans on stage with a uniform.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was doing anything wrong.
Right.
I got pulled out into the hallway because we were at the Paris and we had the big convention. I got pulled out in the hallway, and I was motherfucked and said, I better not ever fucking see you walk in front of all my dealers in a pair of fucking jeans representing Matco. Oh, I'm so fucking scared. That anytime anything with racing, I will. You see what I mean? Like you remember, like.
So you put these on because you knew you were going to be on camera. Is that why?
Yeah, because I knew it had to do with racing. It's just that's why I was wearing a tank top. I'm so used to just being. It's something that was. It was.
Those are hard lessons, though.
It is, but you know what? It taught me to be better. It taught me to be that better of a person, like team, like how to speak. Like they didn't mess around, and you know what?
Now you could translate that to the younger generation. Yeah, that's beautiful.
I'm always happy. Like again, I'm nobody's threat. I'm not coming. First of all, there's no championships that I'm racing for. There's no Wallies. Okay.
Right.
If there was Wallies, I'd be.
But
there's no Wallies. Yeah. So I'm coming back because I truly love what I did.
Yeah.
And I love seeing what it has fruition to, even after that hard crash.
I'm so excited to see you in the car again.
Can't
About
wait.
that crash. Let's talk about that crash.
What
went down?
Back then, the cars were going. Remember how they were just going quicker and faster every event?
Yeah.
I knew that it was coming up on me. I kept feeling it come up on the back, and I was like, the strangest thing. The back just kind of wiggled. Right. So every time we'd look at the chutes, when I'd hit
that was still on bars, right? Still
bars and chute. Yeah. It was no. I drive. Like I told you, I'm a fucking machine. Yeah. I will get in the car and I will shift and shift and shift and shift. Shoots. Everything the same. Yeah. I don't do any fucking wonky ass shit.
Right.
Car kept wrapping the chutes, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. So then we said, okay, well, we're not going to use the chutes. We're carbon on carbon all 4 around. We can stop. No problem. Right. No fucking deal. So it kept doing it. And I remember it came up. I'd already locked the championship. And I was like, I was going to semis. I was like, I'm just going to throw the race. I didn't feel comfortable the pass before. Right. I was rattling it off to everybody. When I get out of the car, if you ever want to have a fucking riot, stand out at the end of the car when I get out of it and listen to the Energizer Bunny go.
No, I've heard you. I've heard you get out of the car before.
Yeah, I am.
You're running on. It's like boom, run like a defrag program prompt.
That's me. You couldn't tell
this,
me.
I was doing this. The thing is doing this. Yep.
I could tell you. Yeah. And by the time they got back in the computer in there, it showed everything. I shifted here. I did this. I did that. I felt to do this and did this. Every single fucking thing that it did. When they pulled the computer log up, there it was. I was like, but that's the only time you'll get it out of me is right there because it's fresh in my mind. Yeah. I forget it's like a tornado in my head. Okay, shit. So yeah, it was doing that, and I remember I was gonna throw the race. Because I'd locked the championship, and I'm like, I'm going to throw the race to Joe Demery. I'm like, I don't feel safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm just too competitive. So I didn't throw the race.
Right.
And it came up harder on that one, a little more harder. And I was like, gosh, I don't feel right. Yeah. Whatever, I'm going against Kenny. It might be just something freak.
Yeah.
So I don't even remember at what point it hit. Like, I don't even remember at what point I felt it coming up. It skated. I remember it skated.
Yeah.
And it hooked it. And then when it hooked it, I was like, it hooked it for a second like this. And then I felt like it was weird. It was like the front end drop, like, go, like this, like, boom, right on the fucking nose. And I'm looking down at the ground. And my last words, if I was ever going to die, would you be surprised, was, motherfucker. Would you be surprised if I told
Not
you?
at all.
So I was like, what do I do now? I'm on my drive tires. I'm like, son of a... And you're on your nose and you're looking down at the ground like, where the hell? Look at that fucking pothole. Oh, look at the groove right there. You know, like...
Yeah.
It was like forever.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it slammed the fucking wall, and I'm like, damn, that was real. And when it slammed the wall, that part, everything started happening real fast. Boom, and it hit that and slid the wall. And I can remember the front coming around and slapping the wall. So I remember the front slapping the wall, and it bounced the car off. And I remember when it bounced the car off, I had my arms on the steering wheel. I was locked like this. And it ripped the steering wheel. I said, fuck. And I had to let go. Because I remember that's when Abel and all them, Paisley wrecked this, is just don't get stiff in the car.
Stiff in the car.
I thought of a drunk driver. Don't get stiff in the car. You got to be like, a drunk driver survives, right?
Yeah.
Sad to say, but I had to be limp. So when I felt the car was just sliding, I didn't know because I was now sliding sideways backwards. I put my hands on the wheel and I was able to just kind of hang on and brace if something happened. And nothing happened. But I was like, son of a bitch. And at that point, when it hit so fast. That's when everything went really fast. And I can remember like getting out of the car. And you knew I had a concussion. There was no denying that I fucking bumped my head. I got out of the car, full suit. I had the neck donut, everything on. I always took my helmet off, and I sat in the car for a second. And I thought, if I don't get, here was another thing I remembered from Paisley. If you don't get out of the car in a wreck, they're going to come and cut your car up. I crawled my ass out of the car. I even went to the back, and we had the emergency cutoff. Yeah. I wanted to make sure the data was saved. I don't know what was going on in my head. Shut the car off, and I sat on the wall. And I could just remember just slumped over. Helmet still on, just staring at the ground like I didn't know what the hell happened. Like, what? Just sitting there. Then I look, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, everything was real slow now at this point. Yeah. And all of a sudden, I could hear people just screaming and running. It was fucking, like, nuts. There was people at the end hopping the fence, and I'm like, please don't let people over here. I didn't want any pictures of my car because the way I saw it was nobody ever saw anything negative come out of me. Yeah. And this would make people sad, and it's negative. Right. Because, you got your drivers, and I couldn't. So the next thing I remember, I was just sitting there, and every fucking team was down there crying. I had Alex Rodriguez. This was when I was laying on the gurney. I was laying there, and I was just, because I can remember taking the helmet. They're taking the helmet off of me, and I remember them yelling at me, "Who are you? What is your name? What just happened?" And I was just like, I knew my name. I knew what happened. Yeah. And so then I start looking, and I'm starting to scan everybody because they're looking at my car. Now is the time you don't want me to go into fucking shock, because if somebody starts breaking down and screaming, I know my car is bad. Yeah. So I'm watching my most dramatic crew guy, and I'm watching him, and he starts crying. I'm like, my fucking car is wrecked. So I'm just sitting there, and I can remember taking my glove off, and it was the funniest thing because I had my watch. I took my glove off, and I let my watch slide in, and I handed my glove over to Mama Moeller. Like, everybody was down there. Everybody down there. I handed it to Mama Moeller and said, here, and I handed that, because my team was just right there, and they were talking. Everybody, Ara almost ran my team over, and everybody's talking, everybody's going on, carrying on. And I can remember when they put me in the gurney, I didn't want to, but I knew that there was something wrong. My knee was hurting. They were so stressed out. They were like, "Do not get up and walk around, because under adrenaline, you could have a broken back. I didn't know." So
or your atlas broken. Or anything
I
like
had
bad.
no clue. I was just sitting there like a hunched over, fucking like I was dead. Like I was dead. Like my visor was up and it was just breathing. But when they laid me down on the gurney, they wouldn't let me move myself. And I'm kind of like one of the boys, right? I'm very machismo. Like, don't you fucking touch me. I can do this myself. I don't need your help. But that's when they explained to me what it could be. I'm like, okay, well, I'd live to drive another day, or I'll walk. Yeah. So I was laying there, and I can remember laying there, and all these guys are standing above me, and I'm like looking at them all. And Alex Rodriguez starts crying. Kenny's crew guy starts crying. And then all I said before they loaded me in the ambulance is I was like, get me a car, because NHRA was the next weekend. I need you guys to find me a car, because I have the finals in NHRA next weekend. I was a looped out motherfucker, I'll tell you. There was no way, not with your first concussion, you were going. NHRA called me. They says, if we catch you out here in a car, we're pulling your license. Oh, they knew. Like, they knew I was nuts. But yeah, so I even got to the point when I didn't want them to bring me up there in the ambulance. Oh my God. Embarrassing. So they brought me up there. And I can remember, I'm going away. I was almost like jail. Okay, let's
Yeah,
go back to
yeah.
jail. I'm gonna be in here for a while. I used to smoke cigarettes at the time, and I remember Mikey light me a cigarette. So I'm laying strapped to the gurney, and there's a cigarette in Mikey's. So before they put me in, and I had just gotten a new fire suit. I had just gotten that new fire suit from Simpson.
Oh, and they cut that off.
You don't even know what it's like with me in the hospital. I'm even 10 times worse. I'm violent.
Yeah.
So they were like, I was talking to them inside the ambulance. They're like, they're going to cut this off of you. I'm like, please don't let them cut it. I talked them into pulling my fire suit down. Now, mind you, and I still will be the same, I only wore a tank top, but I had no pants underneath.
Yeah.
It was just strict fucking,
Too hot. Yeah.
Yeah, way too hot.
We know. Yeah.
So I talked them into bringing it down here. So they did. Then when I get to the hospital, they would not let nobody near me. Like nobody, I was not comfortable, nobody. I'm laid out in a gurney. So then they come in and they cut the fucking fire suit off of me.
Right.
And I started crying the hottest tears.
Right.
Because I felt like you just stripped me of who I am. Like that was me.
Yeah.
My fire
Very
suit.
symbolic. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the doctor tells me, "Oh, I know how you feel. We do this to football players all the time." And I'm like, "Do fucking football players wear a $2,000 fucking suit?" Like I was mad.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money back then.
Yeah.
So they cut it off, and then they kept bro. Let me tell you, the catheter.
Oh, I don't want to talk about catheters.
Catheter. Oh, somebody was gonna get their head knocked off. Like I'm like, the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
But they were trying to do the blood and all this shit. And then they wouldn't. I tried to talk them into doing a butterfly or whatever and a piggyback.
Yeah.
They said no. I says they were in my left hand.
Yeah.
2 nurses. I says if you do not do that, because they kept collapsing my veins, so I was uncomfortable. I'm strapped to a gurney and I can't move. I can't see nobody. There was a kid screaming and crying, and I said, "Can you shut your fucking kid up?" And the mom's all, "He just got bit by a spider." I said, "I just whacked a wall at 169 miles an hour. Shut the fuck up." I couldn't. But I'm not.
How do you compare that? You just
I got
can't.
bit by a spider.
I think
What
you
the
win.
Fuck? Yeah. So I told the doctor, I was so fed up with all of this because I couldn't have anybody with me. And if they didn't do that, I says, I'm right-handed. One of you bitches are getting knocked out. I was so done with the hospital. I was so done after he cut my fire suit off. And I felt like fucking asshole and all hanging out. Like, bro, like, what are you doing? Like, I was so uncomfortable and not having my team.
Yeah.
My team would protect me.
Right.
So I didn't have that protection, so I felt very uncomfortable. I was in a volatile situation. I have a concussion. Somebody could come over and thump me in the head. It was like, bitch, I already have a concussion. What are you going to do?
And you got your strong arm ready to go.
Right arm ready to swing. Yeah. Oh, my God. So that was the wreck. I mean, there's always like, I'll always cause like something. Yeah. I don't like being, nobody likes to be in a hospital, but Jesus crimson, man.
Yeah.
Let somebody's teammate go with them so they're comfortable. You got
to have backup.
Yes.
They strip you of all your backup.
They stripped me of everything. Oh, God. So, yeah, that was the wreck. That's the funny part of the wreck.
It's a wreck and a wreck. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a wreck, and then I had to be a train wreck in the damn hospital with kids that got bit by a spider.
Yeah.
A spider. Like, oh, my God. So, yeah.
Spiders are scary to some people. Yeah.
Well, it bit the kid. So was a fucking wall at 160.
Wall at 160 miles an hour.
When you're looking down at the ground at it, like this was my face looking down at the ground. Like, what?
Mr. Boosty looking down at the ground.
Yeah, that was me. Oh shit!
Isn't it crazy how slow time moves when you're airborne in a vehicle? Right?
Yeah, until you smash. Once you hit,
it's
it's all over quick.
Right.
Yeah, but when you're staring down and you're like, "What the fuck's gonna happen?"
Because Dai Yoshihara's crew guy, the guy who builds this car, Chris Eimer. So I used to race off road with him, and I've been over in one of those cars at like 100, and it's just as soon as you're airborne and you know you're going, it's the longest time frame.
Yeah, before you actually make
you could have
impact.
It feels like you have a full conversation.
Oh, yeah.
In like your head.
It's almost like you figured out, I'm going to hit something pretty hard.
This is going to be, this is going to hurt. It's like you look, because it's driver, because you look driver, co-driver, so you look over, you're like, hey, this is going to hurt a lot.
Yeah,
you're like,
Let's brace for this.
Yeah, jolly good show.
Yeah.
And you just wait, all right, well, I guess we should hit the ground now, about now. Yeah, okay.
Hey, man, I always say, that was the best race I ever lost.
Yeah.
I will never take a loss to anything, but if I did not lose that race, Kenny would have sawed right because I was in his lane.
So what was flipping?
Back facing.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Back facing like this, so he would have sawed right into me.
Yeah.
You'd have lost Kenny and me. Both of
Yeah.
us would have been gone. So the best race I ever lost.
Because you crossed the line behind him.
Yeah, Kenny beat me.
Right behind him, right?
Yeah, came right behind him like that.
Shoot. So what was obviously the speed, slowing down at that
We
speed?
didn't have wings. We didn't have any of that. I
No
didn't even
arrow.
I didn't get a chance to even hit brakes or hit. Everybody had their observation of what they thought. I don't even know what happened. All I know is whether or not it was with the parachute or not. Like there was no parachute because the parachute kept wrapping.
Right.
So what it was saying is the cars were going that much faster. All we had was our little diffusers, our stock diffuser things off the little wings or whatever.
Yeah. No one was doing drag wings. No one knew
We
about
didn't
arrow.
have that. Yeah. So as a car, like it's a little tiny bubble. So it could have been
Creates a little
funnel. Yeah.
Well, it's creating a vortex behind it. That's what's wrapping this. That was what was wrapping the chute.
So that's what was lifting the car up.
Yeah.
In that lane.
Yeah.
It was always in that lane, and that was the lane I kept going to. It was almost like a bad relationship. You just kept going back to it. It's like, hey, just come on back over here.
When you saw your car after that, when you finally got out of the hospital and saw your car, had to be heartbreaking.
No, I looked at it as though it really wasn't that bad. You know, they didn't even tell me I had a concussion. I forgot my name in San Antonio. I had to go to ER again. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I just remember I was looking on the computer because I told them, please don't put anything, like I said, please don't put anything up. I didn't want anybody to see it. I didn't want pictures or anything. So I was in San Antonio and had to disconnect the trailer and go to the fucking ER again. Yeah.
How long after that?
That was not even 24 hours. They didn't tell me I had a concussion.
Right.
Nobody told me I had a concussion in San Antonio.
Concussions are weird.
My first concussion, and then in San Antonio, and then El Paso's where I went to the hospital again.
Okay.
That's where I forgot my name. That's where I forgot I was like legit on the computer. I'm like, I knew what I was intending. I forgot everything. Like why?
Isn't that the weirdest thing?
Why am I here? Like who am I? Like I legit did not know who the hell I was.
I've had a couple.
I've never had one. I never want one again.
One, I was some stupid scenario, but I ended up was driving. Like somebody got in a fight. Somebody hit me, and I was driving. Somebody else was driving, and I couldn't read the signs. Like I was looking at the road signs, and I knew that I knew that there was letters on them, and I knew that I was supposed to be able to read them, but I couldn't read them. And then I just, we went to a party, and I wandered off, and I ended up, my friend worked as a bouncer at a strip club, and I walked from the party 2 miles to the strip club. And I had no idea how I got there.
Oh my gosh.
And he said, he's like, you were in rare form. He's like, you should have been a comedian and have concussions and be a comedian. He's like, you would do really well.
Oh my gosh.
So I ended up, the first thing I remember was waking up in the ER, not waking up, but kind of.
You're kind of gathering your bearings.
Yeah, you're with like 2 of the strippers from his work, and my friend Jordan's sitting there like, hey man. And like, well, how did I get here? He's like, oh, I have stories for you.
Oh boy.
But he's like, yeah.
I didn't black out.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I don't have I don't have memory of that.
Yeah, you blacked out. See, or like your memory blacked out.
Yeah, it was weird.
You're just walking. See, I didn't black out. I didn't have that. I just did weird shit like shut the fucking. Got out of the car because I didn't want the car cage. I fucking wrecked the car. I'm worried about getting out and checking so they don't cut the cage.
I think the concussion comes later, like 24 hours later, right? I forgot your name.
Maybe. I don't even know. I've never had one. Yeah. I never had one. Knock wood. I'll never have another one again.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
Okay. So no.
That's wild.
I don't ever want to end up in a hospital like in that form.
Yeah,
no. God, my team would be so scared. They're already afraid when I walk in.
So new cars underway. It's in Florida.
Yep, he's in Florida.
Yeah.
Mar Performance and taking on with Mitchell. It
looks good.
Yeah.
All the body work and all the fiberglass and everything looks amazing.
Do you like how they had to weld pieces on to make the car a 3-piece again versus a 1-piece?
Okay.
Because we just had the hooks for the 1-piece for all of our cars, so we had to weld shit on. I'm like, oh my God, we're welding stuff on. This was, this is very valuable stuff that we had to take off back in the day to make our weight. They need to weld it on because I need to add weight to the car. I'm like, oh my God, we were 1865 or whatever. They're like 2,400.
It's probably another reason those things are coming off the ground.
Right?
Yeah.
Ooh, little sail. Ooh.
So how long till he's ready?
I think probably end of the year.
End of the year.
Remember, I'm funding, so whatever I get, I'm hustling for this car. So again, last drop of blood. If it means I'm donating blood to get money for the car, you will see me pale as fuck because I'm donating all my blood.
Yeah.
So it's all self-funded. So every time I can, I stash. When they need something, boom. And now it's coming up to the very expensive parts that are coming up, such as doing the fabrication. We now have to, add the rest of the cage. Lucky I was a chromoly cage from back in the day.
Right.
So now we just have to add the funny car part, add in some boxing.
Right.
For the front, there's different parts, but that and then fabrication. So the most expensive parts are really, you're going to see me like, I told the guys, I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get some more jobs on the weekend. I'm going to be like a panhandler in the day and a stripper by night. I'm going to do something because I need to make the money for
race car
car
stuff's expensive. Yeah.
I won't stop. Like I will.
I did anything. Yeah. The OnlyFans thing just didn't work out for me. I had that one fan, and I was like, oh man, it's like, Mom, why are you a fan? That's not cool. But thanks, Mom.
I always said we're gonna do toes and race car parts.
Toes and race car parts.
I'm like,
I think there's a niche somewhere for that.
There's gotta be. Somebody wants to see oil. I draw the line at gear oil. Okay.
Oh, gear oil is terrible.
It's my toe.
Just everywhere, and then brake fluid. Brake fluid too.
Oh, brake fluid. Yeah, no, but gear oil stinks so bad. I could walk by a pit and if I smell it, I retch.
Yeah.
I can't stand the smell of that shit.
Yeah. Oh man, that's exciting. So, but you're updating all the new electronics, all the new.
Yeah, all that new stuff. So it'll be on Fuel Tech.
Yeah.
Everything that every one of these guys in the XFWD class run,
right.
I'm gonna have on par with them.
Right.
So I'll have all of whatever they run. They just tell me, they give me a choice. They go 1, 2, and 3 choices. Okay, we want this. This is what we prefer, and here's the next in line.
Right.
Whoever, because they know I'll go and I'll hit up a company.
Yeah.
So whoever you get out of these 3, those are our top 3 picks.
Cool.
So they let me run with it. They know I'm gonna go out there. They know I'm broke as fuck. They know this. The team knows this. Like,
it's so much more expensive now.
Well, in comparison, you don't know because now there's so inflation. We had so much that went on.
Yeah, but I still think
30 years ago.
But I think because there's more
electronics and they got I'm all vaping.
Because there's more, I think it's more expensive. I think
there is a lot.
There's a lot.
Their transmissions are no joke. You're talking like a $12,000 transmission, and I've seen them rip through these things like easy, like $4,000. I'm like, oh my god! I watched somebody rip through 2 of them. And I'm like, that's hit to me. I'm like, that's why we were making the joke. I'm gonna be an 850 car, and I'm gonna be happy as fuck. I don't care.
Yeah.
850. As long as I'm not breaking anything, I'll be happy.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure that Chupo will not allow that. He will have a talk of all talks from hell.
You're going 7s.
Because
you're going 7s.
He always gives me shit. He'll see me. He'll be like, "You chicken like this. You scared?" And I'm like, "I'm not scared."
You're going 7s. You're going 7s in this car.
That'll take a minute because I need to get used to a car.
I know.
I know. 790s.
Come
I'll
on.
be happy.
But why are you telling yourself you're going to go 850s and
because
you're
I'll save
never
parts and have fun.
You're never going to be okay with 850s. You're going to go 7s.
Well, I mean, maybe eventually.
You know you.
I know
you.
Me.
I know you. You know you.
I know, but I can't argue with the guys because they're the ones in charge now.
I get it.
So now they're like, "You're chicken." They're like, Chupa tells me full boost. I'm like, gosh. He goes, "You hang on and you do the." That's all he tells me, and I laugh at him because every time he sees me, he's like, "You're chicken," like that. It's all he does.
Awesome.
My team doesn't speak English. They're Puerto Ricans.
Yeah.
So the head 2 guys, my head crew chiefs, they don't speak English.
Right.
So everything is just funny. I fuck with them. They don't know the real me, and I think they're getting used to it.
Right.
Because I fuck with them. I walk up and I just say the most random shit that I'll just learn Spanish on. Like I told Chupa that I eat apples. Como manzanas.
That's pretty good. You're doing.
You.
I mean, all this time in Southern California, and that's all the Spanish you got.
Oh, horrible for me.
What? The jail time? You didn't learn Spanish in jail?
My memory is gone. That's why I lost my whole ass memory. But yeah, I think it's almost like I feel like it's a Ren and Stimpy show with us 3.
Yeah.
Because you got me, I'm wild, and they're very calm. They're very chill, like very calm. You never see them get crazy.
Right.
Me, I come in on the chip. These guys, they're just chilling. Here comes Lisa on the fucking chip. The minute I have to tone it down. I'm like, God, they're gonna think I'm fucking nuts.
Just come in on the on the limiter.
They're gonna be like, we're gonna push this Civic out of here because she's crazy. they don't realize all of us are like this.
We're all a little crazy.
We all. if any others from the rest of the industry come in, like another handful, fuck.
I just feel like I feel like it's more crazy when you get around the original crew.
That's what I'm saying. We'd be nuts. We'd be driving people crazy. They wouldn't.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks. I think everybody. I always have to tone it down because I'm like, I don't know how they are going to react to me, because they're different. They're very mellow. Everybody. I mean, I'm sure they have fun. They do all that. I'm not saying they're boring, but I'm saying they're all very mellow.
Right.
Compared to, they don't know. I mean, they don't know what we were all like even at the track during the race. We were fucking nuts.
Nuts.
Yeah. We just did the craziest, say the craziest shit, we do the craziest shit.
I love getting around the people who knew me back then and tell stories to my daughter.
Yes, I love telling stories.
Because I've lived so many different evolutions in my life that I just live now. Like, I'm like very present. Like, oh, I'm here now and this is cool. And I love these. I love these because it rounds out different perspectives of the same story. Yeah. You know, and so when people tell her the stories of how I used to be or what I used to do, I think it's phenomenal because it's not stories I'm telling her. Like, I'm telling her, like, oh, we did this and this was cool. And they're like, no, hold on.
Yeah, let me add to that.
But you forget about this. And I was like, oh, yeah. And she's like, really? I was like,
oopsie.
Nah, I don't care. It's real. It led me to here, you know? Just like your story led you to here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
led you to this weird school bus.
Yeah, and how many more stories I could tell? Like, oh my god, I'm here all night. And if you brought any of the other racers along, some of the shit we'd tell, we could talk for a freaking night. It'd be like circle jerks. All we'd be.
I got to get more cameras for that.
Yeah, to put.
Imagine all of us, Charles and Miles.
To have all of us, and then you got to get some of the guys on the East Coast too involved.
Yeah,
it'd be like it's seriously you. I mean, there would be a whole bunch of fucking,
I could probably fit
a bunch
10.
of tears, but crying because we're laughing so hard because we forgot about that story. That one, remember?
Man, how many can I?
And
I think I can go 4 on this. I can probably buy a bigger one that can do like 10. Imagine 10 of us.
10. Oh.
No one would get a word in.
No, because we'd be talking so much shit. Like, I saw Aura after 18 years.
Yeah.
I saw him at Pan Am's. He came out to see. It was like time stood still.
Yeah.
It was like we were talking our shit to and laughing.
Yeah.
And then we got around Raffy and we got around all the other guys, all fucking Manny and everybody. Yeah. And then it was like a bunch of old school fucking drivers and we're all in one pit and we're all in the rain talking shit. We called Rado, like taking pictures, sending Rado pictures. Like it was like a bunch of us all got together.
You gotta do a nostalgia like event or something.
It's got,
like imagine it, because they all have cars. Everyone kind of has cars,
really
right?
Run though, like you know what I mean?
No, just come run down the track a little bit or something.
If they could do like a nostalgia where everybody just got together, that would be fun. Because then all you have is you could have everybody just all in one, and all we do is just tell our fucking stories of remember when this happened, oh my god, with this the bar. I was telling freaking some of the guys about the bar fight that we got into in frickin' Georgia, Buckhead, Georgia. Full-ass bar brawl. Full-on bar brawl. All I know is I ended up in the back seat, sitting on the back of a trunk, sitting on a fucking speaker, going back down. The Saturn wasn't ready, but they had all the cars that were on display.
Right.
I can remember the sun coming up. I had the keys to the fucking the car. I didn't drive because I was going drinking. I didn't drive. But I can remember walking in as Wes is walking out and he's going to the track. I hand him the keys, go in the elevator, go upstairs and go to sleep. Oh my, we were nuts. But that night was so fucking chaotic. There was a bar brawl because somebody grabbed some chick's ass that her boyfriend saw fighting. I got ushered out, ended up in a limo with Rado, all his guys, Sav, just a bunch of, there was like fucking 50 of us in this damn limo. I'm like, how the fuck did I get in here now?
Right.
Because I used to hang out with Aura and Aura wasn't there. It was George Paisley, Rado I used to hang out with. But all I know is I ended up at this bar. I don't even know who the fuck I went with. But I ended up at this bar. I wasn't even drinking. And I get in the bar and all of a sudden we're all together.
Yeah.
And then there was a big old fucking brawl starting. And then they're like, get Lisa out of here. I'm like, why the fuck do I have to get pushed out of here? Why? Don't pick on me because I'm vertically challenged and I'm only 5'2" and you guys are 6 foot tall. I can fight too, you know. oh no, get Lisa out of here. So
It's family, right?
Yeah,
That's what
Lisa they got me out. And I didn't even start the fight. I didn't even, like, I legit probably just got there. I don't know.
Yeah.
The same thing. How many times did I end up in a fucking strip club? Let's go. We're going here. Okay, where are we going? Oh, we're gonna go eat dinner. Okay, we're going to eat dinner at the strip club again, boys. Oh, yeah, fuck. I always tell people, I'm like,
Didn't see that coming, huh?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, you guys just don't even know how many fucking tits and asses I've seen. I'm like, this is just, and the guys would think it's funny. Let's get Lisa a lap dance.
Always, right?
Because they would they would laugh at me. Because I would just sit there. I'm like, then they'd be like, oh, put her in that, what is it, where they take in the VIP or something? Yeah. I would seriously try to talk to stripper. I'm like, look, yo, they already paid you. You could sit here and tell me all about your job because obviously this is what supports you. I'll tell you about mine. Yeah. I was like trying. She didn't have to dance. I didn't want her to.
Right.
So these times were just, these boys have fucking scarred me. So if anybody thinks that they're going to do anything to fucking scar me, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, yeah.
I've been through hell with these guys trained me. Look, when I fucking, with the Saturday, I usually would have one. I call it one nervous breakdown a year.
Right.
I just had to just let it all out. So I had to let it out because I was under a lot of stress. Ara's my best friend. Still is. Him and George take me to the end of the track at fucking Moroso. This is them. So I'm sitting there and I'm telling them I'm just under so much stress. And I'm crying. Right? Yeah. You don't see that. I'm crying. I'm just under so much stress, so much pressure. Everybody's got the world on my shoulders. They expect me to do this first. How? I don't know. Whatever we're discussing. They let me cry it out. They gave me their best advice. And then at the end of the track, there's dumpsters. There's big old fucking buzzards. Do you know, after it was Lisa, it's okay. You're going to be fine. It was, now don't let us catch you crying like a little bitch like that again, or we're going to feed you to those buzzards. Like, I couldn't even get a chance to be a girl.
No, they gave you your chance. They gave you your 10 minutes, right?
Yeah,
or whatever.
I had my 10 minutes of, I peeked out as one of the girls, and then it was like, now stuff that fucker back in. God. It was, that's
Harsh
what I'm
realm.
saying. When I say these were the guys that came further into the pro years that really, we never had problems. I never had problems. The early years, that was one thing. But the full pro year, all we did was fuck around and fuck around and fuck around. Yeah. And it was fun as fuck. I mean, when we were trying to get the lock off with Daryl, when we got locked into Maple Grove, trying to get with Mike Crawford's car, remember how I was on the juice? They locked us in. Being assholes. Me, my team, Daryl's team, and some of Ara's team. We won, so there was a holiday. Daryl pulls out the fucking nitrous bottle. He had the total home attempt. Pulls the nitrous bottle out of the trailer, trying to freeze the lock off to break us out. Well, now he was pissed. It didn't break. So now he's pushing the fucking total home up against the fence. Okay? And the track guys are calling the cops. We call Ara because Ara was always the mediator. He was always like the big dad to us. Like, he was the one that would put sense in our head. So
he was always super soft spoken in the like
bullshit.
But he knew how to mitigate, but like
he
knew how to like defuse.
He did.
Yeah.
Because he kept us all out of jail. Daryl was going to push that gate down in Maple Grove. They hated us in Maple Grove. They pushed the gate down.
Why'd they lock you in?
Because there was a holiday and they said we were taking too long. We all were in the winner's circle. So that's why we couldn't go tear our shit down. We all had to go do winner's circle pictures. All of us. Yeah. So Ara's on one side. Who was he on the other side? And I think Louis was on the other side with us. But Louis had called Ara, said there's going to be trouble, get here. Ara got there. Right. Well, Ara and the cops and everything's on one side. We're on this side. Daryl's fucking rig's up against the damn fence, going to push it over. I'm behind him with the F-350. I was like, if Daryl runs, I'm running with him. Yeah. I'm out.
Can we get one of us?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. They would have got freaking Ara's guys. Ara would have been still talking to him. But wild. I tell these stories to the guys, and they are just like, what? Yeah. I'm like, if you weren't there, you wouldn't believe it. You think it was shit that was made up? No. Absolutely.
Were you there for Battle of the Imports riot? The riot battle?
Hell yeah, I was.
Were you at Motel 6?
Hell, I was across the street. Across the street, and I remember this dude. He pops his head over, and he's like, his eyes were all fucking beat up. And I'm like, bro, what happened? Like, what happened to you? He said he was boxing some dude for fucking money in his boxers or something. I'm like, what the fuck?
You know who he's boxing? He was David Jenkins.
Oh my God.
Danny or David Jenkins.
One of the brothers?
Yeah.
Oh my
In the pool area.
Yeah, in the boxers, right? Oh,
right.
It was a white dude.
No, but it wasn't like, it was for money. It was like a prize fight.
Oh, Jesus.
And here's the best part, right? We had Motel 6 shirts on because Gary Height's mom made the shirts for Motel 6. Her company made all of the.
my God.
So we had three of us had Motel 6 shirts on. So every time the cops would come, I would go tell them it's fine. Just you can go.
Yeah, we're good.
We're good.
We're good to go.
And that's why they came back with the SWAT team.
Oh, I can remember just seeing it. My car was on a trailer across the street. I was with my car. I'm like, what the hell is going on over there?
Yeah.
Just watching it all. No, I wasn't in it because I was like, what?
Yeah.
I told you I used to hide from everybody. I would hide from everybody. I was like, I don't know anybody.
Like
so.
front row seats to the
front rows on the balcony, just watching. What was it, like Sheridan across the street or whatever? Yeah. I was like, what?
I think we ended up because they kicked everyone out of their rooms.
Old people too. I know that they
everyone
kicked the old people out.
Every single room they cleared.
The fucking walkers.
I have it's like I have footage of the SWAT team kicking the door open.
No.
And ripping us out. And then I know Gary has footage of us coming out of the room. I think he still has it. That would be gold.
God, that is priceless.
It's on a high 8. I hope it's still good, but it's like
that is freaking priceless right there.
Yeah.
No, nope. I mean, the most rowdiest shit I told that what we did. I always want to tell the stories of some of the shit that we fucking did. Oh my God. This one's another one of my favorite with my team. Everybody thought we were so fucking, like they don't do nothing wrong. So remember how Nopi, they'd always have like the band playing?
Yeah.
The same band at every single event.
Right.
Well, I can only listen to being in front of the stage for so long. They parked me in front of the stage. And we were in, I want to say it was St. Louis. And I can remember, we came from Indy. So we had fireworks. I mean, what kid doesn't love fireworks?
Right.
I love fireworks.
Yeah.
So we were in the thing, and we couldn't hear ourselves think, talk, nothing.
Right.
And we were like, I can't deal with this no more. So Mikey and Spraker grab a fucking mortar. And in the big rig, the ladder, and you crawl up, because you can crawl up on the roof line of the rig. I see the motherfucker pop open. I'm like, okay, I got to watch this. There ain't nobody around. I love catastrophe shit like this. So I'm looking around. I'm like, making sure ain't nobody around. Ain't nobody looking. And they're singing, blah, 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 whatever on stage. And it's louder. And all I hear was the zoomf, drop of the mortar. And it shot. And it went right to stage and exploded at stage. Everybody hit the fucking deck, screaming all this shit. The top drops. Mikey and Spraker get down the fucking thing, and I'm dying because I saw front row of everybody screaming. Everybody hit the deck like somebody, this fucking mortar just came out of nowhere and
shot it
exploded.
at the stage.
Right at the stage. We had this perfect.
I could see Spraker doing that.
Spraker.
Oh my God.
Oh, wild. Oh my.
What's he up to? Holy crap.
I think he drives trucks for like the Yamaha team or something like that. Oh my God. With Spraker.
Those are good stories. I got to get him on to sit down. I talk to his kid sometimes.
Oh,
I think
really?
I run into his kid or talk to him sometimes. He hits me up.
That's the Sprackalack.
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 And it's crazy. It's crazy. He hit me up because he was like, "Hey, I'm Mike Spraker's kid." I was like, "Man, you were like this big,
You're a kid." Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I can remember when Tony Stewart didn't want to give him an autograph. Tony Stewart's shop was right across from where ours was. Didn't want to give him an autograph. And it hurt his feelings.
Yeah.
Me and Mikey went over there. It's when Tony Stewart had the Coke machine with him on it. And it was on the outside. Me and Mikey kicked the fucking machine and walked away. Like, how dare you not give a kid an autograph?
Yeah.
Who the hell you think? We kicked the machine. Like we kicked him.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, we used to do the fireworks. There was tornado warnings. We had 2 shops. We had Keith Bergen's and then we had ours. So it was like a U. Right. And I can remember there was like a tornado warning and we had bottle rockets. We were firing bottle rockets at each other from the shop in the parking lot. So we're inside and we're firing. And I can remember one of the fucking bottle rockets and it goes inside Keith's shop and explodes in the Saturn. It was still just a chassis. It didn't have a body or anything. Oh my God. I was like, we almost burned we were dying because we fucked off. We would go to the damn parking lot of the hotel.
Yeah.
I mean, you give us fireworks and look what happens.
Yeah. Should have never given us fireworks.
Yeah,
what's wrong with you
people?
people?
Invented them because people like us have too much fun with them.
Oh man, the Chinese.
Yeah, we would
invented
go to
those
hotel
fireworks.
parking lots and we'd blow them off. We'd be like, mortars were like the best. We thought it was the funniest shit. Mortars were the best.
Yeah. Those Roman candles are cool too.
Yeah, Roman candles. We were fucking with those too. In Indy,
Yeah.
It's crackling. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But and Spraker, I fucked with Spraker a lot. Oh.
Yeah.
Poor Spraker. Poor Spraker.
What do you mean poor Spraker? He's hilarious.
Yeah, because I'd fuck with him. Ask him. He'd be like trying to lean in, and he was like, it's hot, so Spraker be sweating. I'm already hot. I don't need nobody. Spraker buckled me in, did my helmet, did my Hans of Ice, everything. Yeah. So Spraker would be like, trying to buckle me in, and I'd be moving, and I'm looking at him. He's like, "Would you fucking sit still?" And I'm
He's a big
there,
dude.
What are you
Sweating.
talking about? Yeah.
Dripping sweat. Yeah.
I would poor Spraker the way I would fucking just fuck, but I would do it to laugh, and he'd be like, "Would you fucking sit still?" And I would
he's
I
a
would
good
just sit there.
dude.
Yeah, he'd be at the end of the track. He'd already have a cigarette lit for me and everything.
He's a
Spraker
good
had it.
dude. He had it. Yeah.
And one hell of a damn truck driver.
Hell of a truck driver.
Oh, Spraker could drive the wheels off.
Yeah.
He was
I
good.
think he's still local though. I hope he's still local. I don't know.
I thought he was.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit him up.
Yeah, you should. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Sprake.
Think about those stories.
Sprake would.
Because he's got stories from like NHRA, like.
But Spraker,
like,
here's how I met. I knew
Don
Spraker
Perdone.
from them, but when we pulled the whole team together, Jim had already hired Spraker to be the truck driver.
Right.
Spraker's wearing his casual jacket.
Right.
And we're all there and getting introduced, and I'm sitting in a corner like always. And here's Spraker. He goes, and he turns around and he goes, "Pretty sure the jacket speaks for itself." Motherfucker's gonna drive the rig. Oh, come on.
I met him with the Venom team when he was with the Venom team.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of time just talking. And
I've known Spraker for so damn long. It's like,
because the picture I have, so I have the picture of you at Bakersfield.
yeah, Spraker was there with me.
Spraker was there.
Well, he was there too. We were walking the track
Right.
together.
How did it go? So we shot that show, Flipped,
Yep.
right? And then I had to drive home. I was meeting Jen, MTV girl Jen, my girlfriend at the time. We're going to go watch Stars or something. And I was driving home. I was racing somebody on the Grapevine. And I blew up I was racing a Porsche up the Grapevine.
gee.
And
Up the
I blew up my motor.
Up
the Grapevine, right? So I blew up my motor and flipped around, pushed it all the way around, coasted down to the Denny's at the Grapevine right there.
at the bottom.
And then Aaron Schlay's dad came and picked me up in his M5, and then like I slept in the car because I got there like it was probably one in the morning, and it took me like 2 hours to push it around that weird little thing right before there's that bridge thing that flips over
Yes,
right before it's I don't know,
That's
whatever.
not the top of the hill, right?
Almost to the top, right?
Oh my God. Okay.
I had to back down. Well, anyways, so then we got to ride back up, and then I just left my car there, and so Mike spent the day at the track because it was Sunday now.
Yeah.
And then Mike came and picked my car up
Oh my God.
and drove me to my house, and so all my neighbors and like
Oh my God.
were just like the Venom truck is pulling up to my
Rolling up.
house, like dropping my car out. Oh yeah, I was like neighborhood celebrity for a little bit right there.
Oh, gee, Spraker pulled the rig into Chino Hills. I forgot what it was. They thought I had not kidney stone. They thought I had gallstones or something
Yeah.
like that. Oh my gosh. The Spraker just freaking straight pulled right. He didn't give no fucks.
Yeah, no.
I mean, he cared. He did follow rules, but
Right.
he just was like, nope. And he pulled over and pulled into a parking lot. Oh yeah, Spraker would pull some. He'd do some.
That guy
crazy
can
shit.
drive.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
shoot. Yeah. If anybody says any differently, then they're just being haters. Because
Yeah,
Spraker
yeah.
could drive.
Yeah, yeah.
He knew how he could just get that truck parked perfectly.
Right.
But the shit oh my God. I mean, we all had, it was never bad. It was always fun with Spraker.
Right.
I would tell Spraker, would you shut the I hit Spraker with the Saturn.
Really?
I hit him with the Saturn in Las Vegas. Sometimes Spraker.
How do you hit him with a Saturn?
Easy. Charlie was the one that would call me into what lane, when to go, do all that. Charlie was.
Right.
So I was programmed to watch Charlie. Spraker was standing at the passenger side of the Saturn. They were calling me in the box, like the people too, and Charlie calling me in the box. I was going over to left lane. Spraker wouldn't let for some reason he thought water was dripping, but it was probably condensation because it was so hot we were air to
Right.
water
to water.
water in
Yeah.
the cooler, so probably condensation. So Spraker wouldn't let the fucking car go. I fired the motherfucker up. Spraker wouldn't move. I hit him. Boom! Spun him around. Julie was like, "What the fuck did you just do?"
Right.
Like, get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah.
Like, move. They're calling me to the damn box. You get Spraker. Oh, I've had them when Nelson wrecked. I would fuck with the guys. I love doing it because it's fun.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable in my car when I do.
Yeah.
But I used to have the headset and all that good shit. And can remember I think it was when Nelson wrecked and we were in Palm Beach. But anyways, the guys forget sometimes that the headset I could hear too. So
Yeah.
they're screaming and yelling, screaming and yelling. I was at the top of third gear, ready to pull fourth gear. I hit the button. I said, "Can you motherfuckers shut the fuck up? I'm trying to fucking drive." Off the thing, pull fourth gear. Shut up! I'm trying to think in here. Like you keep pulling, I'm doing a fucking $1.90, and you guys are bitching like chicks back there over Nelson.
Yeah.
Nelson was fine. The car was. They fixed it. Okay, we're done, fixed. It was General
yeah.
Motors. They were gonna. There was nothing gonna stop General Motors from getting their shit done.
Yeah,
Fuck,
right.
No. Fucking hell or high water, and fucking the heathen himself was gonna get that damn thing done. So yeah, that's. I mean, I always have a very close relationship with my teams. That's always.
Yeah.
You have to make memories with them.
Yeah.
And I'm not as you could tell, I'm not a stifly ass person.
Right.
I don't. No.
I don't think that this motorsports attracts that type of person. Just stifly ass. You know, like
Surprise! You never know.
I don't know. We're all a bit nuts, but we're all like, it's a fun industry, and everyone seems to be pretty fun. No one's really like, who's like a robot.
I don't know anybody.
Right?
Yeah, no, I don't know anybody robot-y.
Yeah, we're all a bunch of weirdos. I think.
I just don't know if they're all as weird as I am. I just don't know if they're ready for this side of me. I'm going to tell them, do not watch this show, because then you guys are going to learn too much shit about me, and then you guys are going to be like, what the fuck? No, we're going to lock the gates on this bitch. We ain't letting her in here. She's nuts. What if she drives like that? No, I don't. I'm actually very calm.
Clearly you drive in a way that's effective, and it gets
you know what?
championships and trophies and breaks records. So I think you're doing
MF,
okay.
Shut the fuck up.
I think it's part of it, you know. I think you got to be a little nuts to go that fast and to to push that hard and have that much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I always see it as, if something ever tragic happened, the people that were surrounded with me last, I want them to remember me for that person.
Yeah.
So if tragically I'm gone,
right,
they'll remember the last laugh, like, oh fuck,
right,
rolling their eyes at me or whatever they do, like, oh,
that's perfect. That's a good
what
way
I want
to think.
them to remember me as I was not like this perfect person, that I was somebody that I was myself.
Right.
And I'll freely let everybody be themselves with me.
Yeah.
Like the way the guys talk to me, I don't give no, or past guys, not nowadays, but the guys, the way they talk to me, oh my, you already got a taste of it. Feeding me to buzzards.
Yeah.
I told you what they call me, lead dart. Hey, bitch. Yo, bitch. Paisley. Yo, bitch. You fucking asshole. Like, this is how we talk. People.
But he's from, Long Island, and it's endearing.
But that's how we all talk to each other. You motherfucker. Like, that's how we all talk to each other. Like, son of a bitch, you asshole. You this. Like, Brent Rao, lead dart. Call me a lead dart.
So, right, you've lived this incredible career, and you're now getting the car ready, going back in there. What's some advice? What's some a little snippet that you would let people know who are coming up and are at the verge of doing this, or of like putting all their money, heart, and soul into it because they have this passion? You've lived a pretty rad career and life, and it's super exciting, and it's just been, you followed your heart the whole way, as far as I can tell, as far as knowing you've always followed your passion. And so what advice would you give to a generation coming up, just watching the show and, learning who you are or knowing who you are or whatever? Like, what's advice so they can pursue their dreams and, get into motorsports and race and whatnot? And the girls out there too, especially the ladies out there, what do you like? Talk to them. Let's what are you going to say to them? If you could talk to you when you were young, kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like, what would you say to yourself? That type of thing.
Take up knitting. No, just kidding. Back in the day, people would always say, what advice would I ever give people that were same thing. And I would say, just follow your dream. Don't ever pursue your dream, because there's something out there. Whether it's ever going to be driving, you're going to find something that you're going to be good at. Whether it's the driving, whether it's the tuning, whether it's fabrication, anything. Driving may not be your niche. Right. Just follow that. Start somewhere. Continue. People are going to try and knock you down. If people try to knock you down, look at, I went through it. There was so much more we could have touched on.
Yeah.
But you just got to push it out of your mind. You got to always just push it. You are the 5 people you surround yourself with, right? Mm-hmm. I learned that, and I really believe it, because I the 5 people I surrounded myself with, and I'm back in the industry again. Okay. I almost didn't practice what I preached from back in the day because I'd left my industry. I walked the fuck away. I wanted nothing to do with it. I hated it. I didn't care.
Right.
And then there was just something like I was never a happy person. For 20 years, I was never me. I was me, but I was a fake me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's because I turned my back on something that I truly loved.
Right.
So don't walk away and think that it's not going to be there. Like you're going to if you don't fulfill it, then you're going to leave an empty void. I apparently thought I fulfilled what I wanted to in my 20s and 30s, but here I am now.
Right.
But it's who you surround yourself with. It was who I was surrounded. If you're with negative people, you're going to draw that energy. I always say, just don't bring that in. Just always keep the positive energy. Follow what you want, not what this person wants, not what your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your sister, your mother, your dad, your fucking dog. Don't follow what they say.
Right.
If you feel as though, and you have a strong pull and that's what you want to do, you know you're going to do. You feel it. You need to follow the dream.
Yeah.
Follow it. Like don't take no for an answer for sponsors. This is a sponsorship. Don't take no for an answer.
Right.
And never sell yourself short. Because I don't care if you've never, to me, I don't give a fuck if you've never driven a car. If you can give them a reason to believe in you,
right,
then there's no reason they should deny you.
Right.
Like, don't get discouraged because you're standing next to somebody like that has all these sponsors or has a lot of money. I was one of the brokest motherfuckers out there. And Nitto gave me money and said, we want you to make it look like we gave you millions of dollars. Car came out painted. Team came out in uniform. I did everything of the show. Smoke and mirrors. That's all it is, smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
You could be the fucking slowest running car. It doesn't matter. If you are the person that everybody loves, like you are the coolest, don't get in drama, don't start no drama, at least get caught with it. But now they got cameras, so you're going to get caught.
Everyone's
so
got cameras
drama.
now.
Yeah, don't start drama.
Yeah.
Or don't end up in jail, okay? Just that kind of drama.
Stay out of
America's Most Wanted and shit.
Lisa
okay?
Kubo's advice, stay out of jail.
Stay out of jail. Just stay out of jail. But if you could, never discourage yourself and never talk yourself down. I talked myself out of the industry. I let everybody else talk, and I was just like, I'm just done. I was done.
Well, you burned out.
Did
you burn out?
I was so fucking burned out of this industry. I was so fucking burned out of the people.
Right.
I hated the people. I hated what the industry became. I was fucking miserable. And there was a fan that when I was in Pomona finals, I just sat in the car. And I remember this one fan. He wrote to me on my fucking Facebook many years ago. He says, I could see that you didn't want to do this anymore. So I talk to all my fans. When they write to me or my followers, I talk to them.
Same. Yeah,
I will never deny anybody. And people trip out. And I'm like, why? We are one big family and we spend time together. Like, you watched me when you were a kid. That's family. You grew up with me. You're family.
Yeah.
So I was just done with all these fucking bozos that were in the industry, just taking my brothers out, watching them take my brothers out.
Yeah.
So don't let people get in your head. Don't let anything burn you out like it did me. Because 20 years went by and I ultimately missed something that I was a very big integral part of starting. Yeah. And I missed it. And I missed it so much because I was like, they're doing what I did. Yeah. And that's where I belong. And it just took people shaking it out of me and bringing me somewhere like that. I mean, my whole story, I could still keep fucking talking because this whole, like the whole reason I came back, I had completely lost faith in everything. Like I stopped believing in everything. Like I was done. I had 5 weeks of probably the worst time of my entire life. It went, I got a ticket. One of my cats died. Got a ticket. One of my cats died. 3 days later, I got home. I went to Vegas. I got home, and my house flooded.
Oh, wow.
I had lost all faith. I says, why?
Recent? Is this recent?
This was like a year and a half ago. I says, why? Why, Father, are you doing this to me? You know, I had no faith. And I said, why are you doing this to me? Like, I didn't understand. Like, I didn't do no wrong to know. I don't burn people. So I was like, you know what? Brent Levis' dad talked me into it. He's like, Lisa, he has been telling me to come back. And I'm like, no, Brent, what am I going to drive? A golf cart? I would tell everybody the same story. Oh, I'm looking into it. Like, I'll never come back. I had no intention. Right. So I went down to Florida. He's like, you ought to come down to Florida. So I went down to Florida and went to the finals. Do you know it felt like time stood still? Like time stood still. Like there was never a 20-year gap between everybody with the welcoming that I had there. Yeah. It felt that feeling again. This is right. And then I was just sitting in the pits, and it was so funny because I could see like Mitchell, Chupa, they're like this. They're looking over at me. I'm like, Brent, are you sure it's okay? I'm here. This is not my pit. I was so scared of everything.
Yeah.
I was hiding behind a trailer texting Brent, where are you? Can you I didn't want to walk alone. I was like scared of my own industry.
Yeah.
So I go there, and then they pull, like, I was just going to come back because my car's a hot rod. Like, no big deal. Bars, everything, just teach the industry where we started and how they ended up, like the transition and evolution of us.
Right.
So I did that, and by the end, we all started meshing and, just having a good time and stuff. They pulled me in a trailer, and then they had a powwow. I had no fucking say in this. Okay, I did, but I like to say it like this because I sound dramatic. I'm sitting in the trailer.
It's an intervention. It's a Lisa Kubo intervention.
Drag me in, and they're like, I said, oh, yeah. They said, bring the car to Florida. I says, I'm just gonna go hot rod. I'm just, and they go,
there is no hot rod.
No, you go fast.
You go fast.
Fuck. And then that is the evolution, Lisa. But I started feeling this. He was right, and then I started feeling that, like, I felt like a love again. Like this love was strong. Mm-hmm. So then I go to Honda Day, and I'm with the team, and they were like us, but they're so much more. We never prayed together, anything, and they asked me to pray. Now, remember, I wasn't a believer at that time. Right. I felt as though I was being punished for something, and I didn't know why. So right. we didn't talk. We were on a break.
On a break,
yeah. So we prayed together, and it was just something that I felt as though I found why. Because I was in an apartment. I sat in the bathroom on the floor, and I just sat there, and I was like, I know what my meaning is. I know what my purpose, and I know exactly why all this bad happened to me. Yeah. Because this bad happened to me to open my eyes to tell me, you've been away so fucking long, you've missed this. Like, he's not saying fuck, but he's like, basically he was saying, this is where you belong. These are your people.
These are your people.
You walked away from your people. So basically he was calling me a hypocrite, saying,
right.
You should have never left and turned your back on everybody. Right. I mean, I didn't turn my back, but I just didn't.
You couldn't.
Yeah. I didn't, but honestly, you know how hard it is for me, and I feel so bad because I'm learning all these new guys, and I feel so bad because back in the day I didn't know everybody I was talking to.
Yeah.
But I don't like to not feel like these are my new family. These are my new friends.
Right.
And I want to know all of them.
Right.
And, I get so excited over everybody. But my team made me, and that's the reason why my team brought me back to faith.
Yeah.
Because I felt as though he pointed the light and said, this is where you belong. This is why you're going. This is all this misery to open your fucking eyes, Lisa.
Yeah.
You belong back where this is. And I didn't tell nobody this story. Okay, I told my best friend, but nobody knows that story. Like my faith came and was restored when I came around my team because it brought it back to me.
Yeah, God will slap you upside the head.
It was the hardest.
Hard slap.
Oh my God, it was.
I think it's just those lessons, and I think that's what happens is that those lessons get harder and harder until you learn them, and sometimes it takes
5 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
5 in a row. There wasn't no break.
Just kept calling. Pick up the phone.
Yeah,
pick up the phone.
Pick up the phone. I'm just like, I'm just done. But I that's why I keep telling people I have a stronger love for this industry now.
Right.
Than I did back in the
because you know your purpose.
Yeah, I feel as though
you feel your purpose.
I feel as though
it's that same feeling. It's that right lane feeling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I belong here for a reason.
Yeah.
Well, it's not going to be. I'm not here because I want to be the top dog. I don't care the fuck at all to be the top dog.
Right.
But if it's something that I'm here, that I was placed here, maybe to help the industry, like with these guys with. I don't know, anything. The low line guys, anything, advice, something to help them.
I stopped
further. I'm all about it.
I stopped asking questions. I stopped asking the questions of why, because I always led me to weird. Like I was like, oh, maybe this is why God did this, or you got. But I just stopped asking, and I just started saying, cool. Like the show, I was like, cool.
Yeah.
Everything was just, and then once I let remove ego and pride out of it, it's just everything opens up, and it just becomes this just flow that I couldn't orchestrate.
Yeah, you cannot. It's so, just everybody's attracted to you. Just that happy, positive energy. I thought I was a walking bad luck charm. Like I was just the worst. Having all this stuff happen to me, like how does this happen to me? Like,
but you are what you feed. right?
Yeah.
Now you're feeding this excitement and this joy and this like
because it brought me right back to where I feel like I'm alive again. Like I feel, and I'm very. It sounds crazy. I'm extremely territorial and protective of this industry.
Yeah.
Like I feel like even though there's other guys that have been there, I'm the front wheel drive one.
right.
So I'm going to do everything in my power to fucking protect these guys.
Yeah.
I will. I will. If these guys feel as though there's somebody threatening or anything, I'm there. Like I almost feel like I'm their mom, like their entire the industry's mom or the grandmother at this point. But I will protect these guys because my heart is for them.
I feel that too from like the street racing and whatever perspective because I've been there too, and I just feel like telling the stories is protecting the industry because it's reminding them who we are, where we came from.
Yeah.
And it's teaching
that
them
we're not stupid.
We're not stupid. And what we had to go through to pave the road that they all drive on now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Essentially,
and
metaphorically
and
speaking.
I don't ever want to see this part of the portion of this industry that I'm in right now. I never want to see it go down the path that it did. I would never wish for this fucking industry, this part of the industry to crash. It is so exciting. It's so family oriented. It's so everything.
Right.
I'm sure there's drama. I'm sure there's people that dislike each other and they whine. I'm sure there's all of that.
Right.
But we all had it too. You know what I mean? Like it's no big deal. Like, but I'm going to do my fucking hardest to preserve if there's any kind of a threat.
Right.
If there's any kind of a threat, it better try and go through me first because I will protect everyone. Like I said, team, you may be my team, you may not be my team, but I'm sure the fuck going to protect you because I give a fuck about what you brought, like you brought and kept.
Yeah.
And now I'm coming back to what I started.
Yeah.
So you kept it happy for me. You brought it back to where it was happiness for me when I was younger.
Right,
you know,
right.
you brought happiness back into me. So I'm going to protect you. Like, again, family, and you protect your family. That's my family.
Yeah.
These guys are my family.
Driver B took me out, hit me up. He's like, hey, let's go. We're going to run in grudge match tonight. We went out to Compton and all over. It was just the time didn't pass.
No.
It's the same feeling. It's that good feeling of being out on the streets or being the same banter. It's the same. The cars are a little different, but it feels like home.
Yeah.
And that's what's like so beautiful to see you back out.
Yeah, because it felt like home after 20 years.
After 20 years,
I've been to plenty of races, and I never wanted to come back. I'm like, fuck. I don't fuck. It's a time to go. Yeah. You know, like, I had no interest. None of my guys. I always said if any of the other OGs came back, I'd come back.
Yeah.
None of them are really coming back.
Jeremy's doing stuff.
Yeah, but everybody.
Miles is kind of doing stuff, and everyone's kind of.
But nobody will go. They need to go to the East Coast.
Yeah, it's only where it's happening.
That's the only place it's popping. And West Coast we get popping. You know, you got
IFO. And
you got events. I'm not taking that away from the West Coast, but it's just California. We just don't have. There's a whole different vibe down in the East Coast.
Yeah.
Way different. Always was different, too.
Always was different.
Always was different. Even back in the day, it was fun, popping, jamming.
Yeah.
Out there, it's you know, shit, I could sit down and I'm eating all day long. I'm like, oh, my God. I'm never going to fit in this race car again. It's just,
Yeah. More hospitable out there. Yeah.
It's different. And that's
more
welcoming.
welcoming.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
It's more my jam. Like, it's more my jam, more my vibe. Like, that's me out there.
Yeah.
But I always was on the East Coast racing, so I was very used to the East Coast.
Yeah.
So it's
they've
preserved it from the best part of our industry.
Right.
When we were pure. When we were not freaking.
They filtered all the BS.
All the fucking scumbags are gone.
That crash took them out, and now.
Yeah. And that's why I said, and people think about it. The first time it came to me, I was in. I want to say I was at, what do you call it? A World Cup final. Mm-hmm. And I was talking to somebody and I just spit it out like that. And the guy's like, that makes sense. And I'm like, that's what it just came out. I didn't think about it. Like, it just came out. And then I thought about it. I'm like, I told myself, you're fucking right.
Yeah.
It deserved to. It needed to.
Well, I feel like the people who are still doing stuff today after the crash, they should be here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The people who stayed.
Stuck it out.
Right. Because they're here for the right reasons.
Yeah. Companies. It was a lot of the corporate, like a lot of the drivers that were just getting taken advantage of and stuff like that. You know, just bullshit that was happening to them. they were just making a mockery of all the boys. And that's
Yeah.
other than like the pro rear guys, you ain't gonna tell them what the fuck to do.
Right.
The outlaw guys, you weren't gonna tell them. But the front wheel drive and the hot rod,
Yeah, but that was the main. That was the attraction.
yeah,
That's what drew the crowds.
yeah, it was all
And
the
all
front
the and the series, all the competing series that
people
had races on
fighting
the same weekends in different parts of the country.
yeah, people fighting, people trying to. We already discussed what happened with a race in a different part of the country when I was in one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
But there's, I hope people get the mindset is there's plenty of pie.
yes, they need to
Okay.
understand. Just make it for all the racers. All the racers will come.
There's plenty of pie.
Yeah.
You don't need to steal someone else's pie because there's plenty of pie.
Yeah.
It's a big enough industry. Like, don't be
And
greedy.
there's always somebody coming up. Like there's always kids, new kids. There's
I love it.
There's a lot of father son teams out there.
Yeah.
That's
I love the
greatest.
innovation. I love just social media. You get to see
Uh-huh.
stuff that, back in the day when you did stuff, it was a closed book.
Yeah. Well, done. Yeah.
You didn't pop your hood until you had to.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now it's like people are just showing what they're doing and innovating and building incredible things, and
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
The
I love it.
I mean, the innovation, yes. All the other stuff we'd already done.
Oh yeah. Besides
But,
this blood, sweat, and tears
Yeah,
paving
we
the
already
way
paved it part
to
What-
make stuff that didn't exist. Yeah, but
making all kinds of.
that's why we get to
random-ass
that's
shit.
why we get to sit here and tell the story of what it was and how it became.
Oh yeah, me on freaking off this topic, that tangent.
No, it's flowed really well. Yeah. Any closing words? Let's close this party down.
Jeez, and closing words.
Unless you want to keep it going, let's close this party down.
the hell?
I think we brought your whole everything. I think we summed it up. We skimmed the surface, but I think it's if this was going to be telling every single story,
Oh my God,
it
this
would
is-
be a 10-hour plus podcast.
It sure the fuck would be.
So let's get some closing words.
I mean, closing words. I mean, first of all, thank you. Thanks for allowing me to, and you guys too. Thank you for allowing, listening to me. I talk a lot and ramble a lot, but
No, it's beautiful. Thanks for sitting down.
thanks for freaking giving us the platform of
Yeah.
many of us from back in the day that, again, like you said, it's a closed book. Like none of us were able to, we didn't have the social media that we had that we could just go out there and put it out to the world
Right.
to see what, it took to build the industry. The industry didn't just pop up overnight. The industry didn't just come out of nowhere. And again, we weren't just some fucking little kids that just said, hey, let's just put a Honda together. No, it started even lower than that.
Yeah.
But
These were economy cars.
yeah,
That got good gas mileage.
weren't meant to do that. People got pissed off. So, I mean, my closing, I don't. For me, I never close anything. Everything's always
All right,
open.
well, let's leave it open ended.
Yeah, it's always open ended with me.
All
If
right.
somebody's about to ask me, people are going to ask me questions. Always ask me questions.
Well, questions in the comments. You know what I mean? The questions in the comments.
Yeah, I'm always there's always get ready because I'll talk for
All right. So how do we find you? Let's tell them how do we find you?
over. You find me. I'm usually trolling around on my IG. It's Lisa Kubo Racing. I was doing my YouTube. It's just right now. Forgive me. It's a little hard because the car is 3,000 miles away. So it's the disconnect of being able to get parts. So whenever I get something, I do update it on IG.
Right.
But my YouTube is Lisa Kubo Racing.
Okay.
Everything.
Same name all across all
Yep,
platforms.
Lisa Kubo Racing across all platforms.
Cool.
So you can find me.
Yeah.
Talking some. And you guys, I have travel chronicles because there's always some sort of fucking bullshit happening.
Oh, I love those travel. Tampa travel chronicles.
Trampa. We got Orlando and Trampa.
That was awesome.
Yep.
And you're here at McLeod
McLeod. Yep.
McLeod clutch.
Yep. So then,
Sport compact. If you need
Sport
a
compact, yeah.
clutch, if you have some clutch needs, they're incredible clutches.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're just and you're working on those twin disc,
Twin
triple
disc,
disc.
7 1/4, triple disc. Well, for the sport fronts, I'm very heavily involved with sport front. So
Right.
there's the triple discs that are in Ricky's car, and that car came out, ran its career best 801. I mean, he
Yeah.
ran 803, but 801 ran his best 60 foot.
Right.
And then I just heard that there was another car that they sent me pictures. They didn't come to me when they bought it. They probably didn't. I mean, they probably, it's part of my team. It's one of my teammates bought the clutch.
Oh wow.
And right out of the gates ran 7s. So
Yeah.
I will go ahead. On my IG, all that stuff. I'm gonna post it.
Right.
Because I mean, how do you guys should have told. They didn't tell me. They kept it a secret, and I've been in the pits the whole time. They didn't say anything that they
just
had.
bought
the
it. They just
bought
bought
it. They just bought one. Yeah. I'm like, oh well, thank you. And then I see a picture of them holding it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like that's
No,
okay.
that's-
I mean, if you guys,
That's real.
yeah, they
Yeah.
want. I mean, they're big McLeod fans. So
Yeah.
what can I say?
Yeah.
That car makes the most horsepower so far, like at the time in the class. It's one of the top.
1500.
It's
What is it? What's that?
16. Made
1600.
16 to the wheels. So I'm pretty sure if anybody knows that I said it's a, like, if I could say it right, it's Joel Tavares. So it's Sombra.
Right.
I got a picture a couple days ago.
You sound very ethnic.
And
It's
he's
good.
holding the
Yeah.
clutch, the whole unit. And I'm like, what the hell? And he said he ran this at the event. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I'm talking to his wife, and I'm like, you guys need to send me pictures. Why didn't you tell me you had this in your car? But nobody knows.
Yeah.
So now I'm gonna put it up because
Yeah.
you're damn right. So there's another triple. So we got Ricky on the cusp of the sevens, and you got Sombra that ran 790. What do you run? 796 out of the gates on
Can't wait
Friday
till you run.
nights.
I can't wait till you tell the egg run sevens. Civi run sevens. You know.
He doesn't know what to do. He's gonna be like,
Same scheme, same paint scheme. Everything's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Absolutely. Everybody
Yeah.
everybody asks for it, and I'm like, everybody's cars are painted or wrapped so differently that he's gonna stand out.
Totally.
He's gonna look so
I cannot
old school.
wait. I cannot wait. Yeah.
He's gonna be very old school.
Yeah.
Some old school parts in there.
Well, I hope I'm there the day it runs to see it run.
We'll be in
Yeah.
Florida.
I know
We'll be
where
in
Florida. I know how to get to Florida.
You do? Okay,
Yeah.
I-10, all the way east.
I-10. Yeah, drive this to Florida. Imagine that.
Oh my God.
Imagine the interviews. What?
Oh, stopping along the way. You can stop at Texas. You can stop all those.
Kenny in
Kenny,
Texas.
yep.
Yeah.
You got Ari Ellen down in Texas too.
Peter Yem's in Texas last
Yep,
I heard
yep.
too.
Peter's been there for years.
Been there for years.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
And make your way on down. Get ready. These disco lights. There's a bus like this at Pan Am's, and they got all the fucking reggaeton music.
There's
I
no
was inside that.
bus like this though.
Oh yeah, no, not like this one. It had all the music, and back here was all loaded with speakers. Oh Lord.
yeah.
I was like, I want to go in there and dance, and they're like, well, go ahead. I'm like, I don't know anybody. So
This has a full system too.
oh yeah.
And these are all TVs. These are all flat screen TVs.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
Well, you bring this out, and you guys can have a battle of something, but I'll be dancing in both of them.
Battle of the Dancer.
Yeah. No, I just be having fun. Be hopping rooftops. I don't know. Who knows?
Hey, there's a
what?
roof rack too.
Yeah, see? Hang on. Like Indiana Jones or something.
That was great talking to you.
Oh,
Thank you,
pleasure.
thank you. Again, this is Burning Tire. It is a Buzzcast. I'm your host, Greg Leone, and this has been Lisa Kubo, and it has been such a pleasure.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. You guys like, subscribe, comment, do all the stuff that you do, and keep tuning in, and I'll keep bringing them to you.
Look at me, I'm all
I stole that from SEMA. Come here.
fucking ghetto. That was a long. I beat Miles. I told you I could talk.
You beat Miles.
I beat Miles. Miles was what, 2 hours?
Yeah, this is
I'm
more
fucking
like
what?
you're 3.5. You might be the longest. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share. See you guys next time.